He's been a handful. Speaking of handfuls, the man that had 1,000 metres plus gain 2 weeks ago at the Gabba. Great form, Piers Hanley.
Who's slant at the bottom of the screen there. He's direct opponent Rowan Buick.
Not a bad crowd in here at the Gabba. We're underway. The Brisbane Lions have been bringing a few back in recent weeks. Ace Duff didn't have it. And he'll know a few of these Adelaide players extremely well. Two-time premiership player in the AFL with Norwood, even though he's still only 18 years of age. Padfield, speaking of South Australians, gets a little touch. Fed back. Mays, another one of those South Australians, gives it all the way back to Martin. And the little chip kick by the oldest player on the ground today, Maguire, 30 years of age.
He's been a good story as well. Justin Lepich and his match committee did not want to play him at the start of the year, and he forced his way in and has held that spot.
McStay coming off a good week last week, 3 goals. Spent most of the game in defence. And this is Gardner, another one of their NAB Rising Star nominees.
Yeah, got that nominee this week.
Okay, a little nudge to the back. Oh! Umpires caught advantage and cooked him. And then paid ball against him.
He did take up initially.
Then he stopped.
He stopped in his tracks.
I don't think he knew the free was going to be paid, though. He took off not understanding whether the free was a free or not. Right.
Normally when the player stops, the umpire says, OK, bring it back.
Yeah, needs some clarification. That rule needs to be tidied up a little.
Time to welcome our umpires, Jordan Bannister, Andrew Stevens, Jacob Mollison. Ball to half forward. Crouch couldn't do something with it. Zorko steals. Gives to Piers Hanley, having an outstanding year as well. Aish, Padfield,
plenty of numbers through the midfield here through hands.
And Hanley could go all the way home. He gives it off instead. Goal kicker, Crisp on the left.
Oh.
You bet. Perfect start.
Oh, that's a magnificent start there for the Brisbane Lions. So the thing that would be disappointing, Brendan Sanderson, the Adelaide midfield. Have a look at the number of Brisbane Lions players running through the midfield unattended here. We've got 5. They're just queuing up for handballs. Hanley, as we know, loves to get on the end of it. Really good option there to Crisp, and then to finish over the top. That's a worrying sign for Adelaide nice and early.
Spot on. You spoke earlier about the run of the Brisbane Lions, but it was the work rate defensively from the Adelaide Crows, as you said, Spud. It's a massive concern. Jack Crisp, a really big athletic midfielder, plays on the half-forward flank, and as we saw, very nice left foot kick.
Well, they've dominated the start of this game, Brisbane Lions. That's 20 disposals to 3 at the moment.
Rockcliffe, Zorko, Martin, squeezed that to Crisp again. Smother, Ricochet, Yench. Finally, some Adelaide players might get to touch it. Tex up, good hands, nice first touch.
Clark's got that match up.
Heads long, Lynch and Jenkins both forward. Jenkins beaten by Padfield.
Heard in that Martin duel, Jenkins.
Yeah, he is too.
Still on all 4s at the moment, holding his face.
Yeah. They're away again here.
Maguire, long. They've got Freeman forward at the moment, the Brisbane Lions as well. The first gamer, close went for that one. Freeman there with him. Tex up. Not quite this time. Sloan backtracks.
Good work from Lynch.
And here's Lynch. So he started in the goal square, back into the lineup this week with Podsy Adley rested.
He's come straight off here, Jenkins. Looks like he got a poke in the eye, guys. So he's just in the hands with the doctors at the moment.
Lions also into their 22. Lions to Lynch. Dangerfield's pushed to full forward at the moment.
They're outnumbered at the end of this kick, so they've got a port as he does.
Sloan.
Yeah, that's a good call, Dwayne, because Tommy Rockcliffe, direct opponent, may be playing full back at the moment.
So right, long. Dangerfield's down there, got a couple to beat, just slipped away from him.
Well done, Justin Clark, just to get the fist in there to put the ball over the boundary line. Big job today for Justin Clark.
Here's Jenkins.
Oh, yes. Well called, Moons. Joel Padfield's...
the ring finger on the right hand. It's gone up to the first knuckle.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to get the ring out of his eye.
Yeah.
Jacobs, how about that? Bit of sauce on that.
And that's where we're speaking pre-game. Steph Martin's ground level work's probably going to be the real danger for Jacobs, but here it was Jacobs that picked up the spillage and holds front position, but second effort stays in the contest and quickly onto the right slipper. That is really good work. It was overrun by both the Lions and the Crows players in tight, but Jacobs followed up. Really good goal from probably the best ruckman in the competition at the moment.
Coming out here, guys.
Gee, you're working the All-Australian selector with us early, Lynchy.
Yeah, no, we're working, mate.
You put me under pressure,
We'll get something out of him by the end of the day, no doubt about that.
Well, he definitely got one back on Stephen Martin. He was going to this game knowing Stephen Martin's second efforts as the umpire will recall it and throw it up.
Jacob's asking, well, Stephen was favoured by one earlier when you stuffed it up. How about giving me a break here?
Correct weight.
Tossed in the air. Umpire's umpiring for finals as well at the moment. Sloan flicks that up. Dangerfield put his head down, but he ducked into that, so no high free kick to be paid. Sloan gets it out. Martin of the Adelaide variety. Smothered. Mays. Green. Gardner. Robertson.
Good spread from the centre from Robertson. Just really worked hard. First game back after a few weeks.
Adelaide electing the +1 at the moment with Brodie Smith. That's why you see a lot of short possessions at the moment going forward.
That didn't quite work. Cameron is away. Back into the lineup this weekend. Has the Jets on. Left the ball too quick for the Sharon.
Just threw it away and then.
Good set of wheels.
Good to see the youngster take the game on and just run and attempt to have a bounce. Didn't quite work on that occasion, but I'm sure that'll be encouraged from the coach.
Back into the lineup. He's from Queensland, Lynchy. Mornington Island, Gulf of Carpentaria.
And his nickname is Jets, not because of his speed. Apparently when he got to Adelaide he said he had jet lag.
Oh, really?
Long kick to half forward. Gardner taps it toward the boundary. In fact, there's a pretty good story, Charlie Cameron. Ended up going to Marist College here in Brisbane, where he played a bit of rugby. And
well, a very strong rugby school, Marist Brothers, Ashgrove, and also the school from John Eales, the Australian captain, and Matthew Hayden, the Australian opener from out of that school.
Nice to steal an AFL player from that. Did go to Perth, of course, and honed his AFL skills there. Big snapper goal from right, high, goal square. Walker's down there. Gathers the crumb, flicks a handball up, back to right. The man who gave it to him, it was touched anyway, but thumped through, goalkeeper style.
Really good contest there, Dwayne, between Walker and Clark. You see here. Yeah, well done.
Zorko entrusted with the kick in. Patfull.
Another big job for Patfull. With Maguire playing, it allows Patfull to play all types. The loose man. Today he's got Eddie Betts, so he's going to have his hands full.
They try to free him up across halfback, either him or Adcock, but he can play that fourth tall now, but take the small. So because they've got a number, certainly Gardner, McStay, Maguire are the bigs with Clark as well, so he can do whatever he wants.
Well, I don't think he'll be able to do much today with Eddie Betts. You'll have to keep an eye on Eddie.
Down that one, so Adcock will get the free roll.
Yeah.
Lynch from 3 deep goes up. Betts tried to pounce at full pace. Maguire almost kept that into his detriment. Gang tackling. Ball up, and it is a good crowd, Lynchy.
Very good crowd.
Yeah, beautiful day, so the temptation would be to head to the coast all day on the beach, but magnificent day. It's encouraging because the Lions have been in good touch in recent weeks, as we said pre-game.
Yeah, it does look like a team that has some confidence and some fans coming back, having won 5 of their past 9. Yench back inside 50. Cameron front spot flies. Martin, thanks to somebody else's problem. Otten got there. Every player on the ground in front of him. Puts it to the pocket. Walker again the target. And Clark with the spoil and some help from Rockcliffe.
Well, that was a percentage kick. That's the only thing he could do there. If he had to kick the ball to the top of the square, there's a number of Brisbane Lions players getting back behind the ball. That's an area of the game that really strengthened the Brisbane Lions. The last 5 weeks they're ranked second in the competition for points against.
Rockcliffe threw that away. Harwood, umpire said that it fell clear in the tackle, and McStay bumped out of that contest, the ball in. Drifted forward a few times last week.
Yeah, he was just about the difference in the end. Also, wasn't he?
Extremely impressive. One grabbers, contested grabs.
Mark of the day. Very good. Great signs.
Robertson. Sloan. Buick. Zorko. Opens it up nicely to Gardner. Now they've got the run. Patfull. Middle of the ground. Robertson again. Adcock getting involved. Thinks about the big sticks. Gets it going long, just over the head of close.
What's their number one play is that the switch from half-back and the run through the midfield. So the half-forwards for Adelaide can't afford the ball watch there. Adcock again got forward of the press. They just need to make sure they're guarding the dangerous players through that corridor.
You can see the confidence has built over recent weeks, so you get the wave of players.
Well, it's 25-6 handball receives at the moment, so yeah, it's near Adelaide. I know the scoreboard's not hurt him at the minute, but you can see the top of the screen there, 25-6.
So encouraging signs. There was a stage earlier in the season the Brisbane Lions didn't have that run and support because they were too worried about turning the ball over and getting hurt the other way. Now they're back themselves and trust their teammates.
Zorko almost stole that. Crouch stole it back from him. Yench. Betts and Lynch fly with Maguire. Lynch landed nicely. Gathered. Gave. Sloan. Robertson scrambles a kick. Not 15. Off some hands. Green tried to pick it on the run. Otten feeds it back. Crouch. Another kick. Scrambled out of the congestion. Lynch. Contest was illegal. Into the front of Patford.
Well done, Patford. Kept his eyes on the ball. They'll call Dwayne. They'll look for the switch and run through the middle of the ground here again, Brisbane.
Gardner. Harwood. Run down from behind. Splendid tackle. Gee, I don't know how that wasn't holding the ball.
Well, it was, just wasn't played.
Yeah.
Well, there's two umpires watching it. I think there's the evener up.
Oh, my goodness.
No, it's
double whammy.
Double whammy.
That was extraordinary. Harwood had an enormous amount of time and
just no awareness.
Well tackled. Here it is again. So Harwood's had a.
Let's see if he gets a handball away.
Yeah, that's prior opportunity. The umpire really.
That's done cold.
Yeah, it's sad, really.
It's taken 3 steps.
Jacobs heads wide, right. And it confuses the players for the rest of the day if you start with a decision like that.
We don't rush the handball. That's what you.
Smith turnover. And good grab by McStay.
Push forward again, McStay.
Mays, Louis Taylor. One of those contenders for the NAB Rising Star.
But Freeman deep.
Rockcliffe sits on him. Corralled and short pass is superb. So they've worked this nicely.
They have. The +1 is killing Adelaide at the moment. They're working the ball well off half-back with the overlap run, whether it be by hand or foot, mostly by hand, and they've got the composure to hit the targets when going forward.
And Brodie Smith's the +1 for Adelaide. He's only had the 1 disposal, so...
Just the 3rd game of the season for Jack Crisp. Already got 1. That won't have the carry. It's played on the line. On the goal line.
Stay again.
Stay dropped down again. Can you believe that? So he's drifted forward from defence.
So what is
7-pack?
Here it is. He comes from way back. Good jump. And that's a great grab over the top of Big Sauce. And converts.
Phenomenal start. Last couple of weeks has been sensational.
Oh, that's a magnificent grab. We saw it last week late in the game against Melbourne, but he's been able to do it again. He's playing down back, and I think that's the beauty of Justin Leppitsch, what he's told his backman. There was no better player than Justin Leppitsch running off as a halfback trying to get dangerous, and McStay, as we saw there, just took a magnificent mark, goes back to the back line.
What has happened there, and we'll have a good look at this, when Stephen Martin goes off the ground, McStay goes forward, there's a big 4-way rotation.
To a half-back flank, or is he back pocket?
Well, back flank, half-back play, we'll call it.
Outstanding.
Not sure whether there's any back pockets these days.
Just extra midfield. 16 midfielders.
Dangerfield held, gets a free. Captain today.
Looks like Zorko's playing on Dangerfield, so look for Dangerfield to push forward for the height advantage there.
Brodie Martin. Walker in the pocket, couple to beat. Almost beats them all. Hanley takes it out with Cameron's help. No, he doesn't. Stolen by Douglas. Big central, didn't quite hit the target. Crisp. Maguire.
Started well, Maguire.
Robertson. And he pumps it long. Almost stolen from him in the end. Slapped down by the first game. He did it right.
That was clever.
Absolutely. Green inboard. And cut off by Henderson.
Now the option was there to go along to the square with Daniel Merritt v Talia there.
Switches on. Probably missed the opportunity.
Lyons.
To Richard Bang. Great tackle.
Crouch, they'd get a handball up back to Lyons, to Brodie Martin. Eddie Betts.
Oh, Texas by himself. They've got a swing, Ed.
He sees him now. Doesn't go to him, goes to Douglas.
Yeah, that's a let off there.
I think because Betts went to ground, just made it a lot slower.
Tex is up now. Wasn't front spot though. Rockcliffe lucky to have that called a handball. Pat Full didn't find the man with it. Martin, Mays. There they go again. Hanley, Mays, Zorko, Crest.
Oh.
And they run.
Mightn't get him.
Might go all the way. Gee, confident. Strolls inside 50. Delightful. That'll bring the fans back.
Let's copybook of their first goal. Just the switch and then the run through the middle of the ground. It's just exciting to watch at the moment. And this is a carbon copy. Brendan Sanderson, the Adelaide coaching staff, won't be happy with this. But this is like watching West Coast last week. West Coast kicked 12 goals, 10 from turnovers last week. And have a look at the run and carry through the middle of the ground here, Alistair.
And great support from Dane Zorko. He got it in the back of Crisp there and spoke. We could see the mouth moving rapidly there, giving him all the confidence that he can straighten up and shoot.
Lynchy, we spoke with Sando before the game. We spoke about how teams or good teams defend their turnovers because everybody turns the ball over. We know the good teams defend them. Right now, 2 out of the 3 goals have been from turnovers for Brisbane.
It's like a sieve through the middle of the ground with a run off half back from Brisbane.
Crouch had nowhere to go initially. Goes wide to McKay.
Hold the man.
Which way is this going to go?
McKay's free.
Wasn't a lot in it.
Stay out, Tex, Justin. Stay out.
Tex wants it. He wants to have a shot from 55.
And
that's just blazing away.
That's still 40 out. Out in the full. Big Texan, he was desperate. He wanted it.
Could have lowered his eyes. He had Dangerfield v. Aish.
Yeah, real concerns in the coach's box for the Crows at the moment. Just haven't got off to a good start. Only 11 points down, but the margin feels greater than that.
And that was a little bit of a panic indicator, wasn't it, from Tex there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the half forwards for Adelaide now need to be conscious. If that ball goes anywhere near centre half back through the corridor, you must touch and feel and get goal side of your direct opponent.
Gardner long. Mays went to spoil instead. Jenkins back to the hot spot. Walker's down there. Hands to it, knocked it down. Goes back, gets it, wants to have a shot. Gives it off. Lynch! I needed that. Little nerve settler.
Absolutely, they needed that, and defensively they need to lift their rate, but when they get these opportunities going forward, they need to capitalise. They've actually gone in their forward 50 on more occasions than the Brisbane Lions, but it's the quality of ball going in. On this occasion, Tex Walker got the handball out into a dangerous spot. Tom Lynch got a favourable bounce, just slotted, popped straight up and dragged it around his body. So that was a good answer, an important answer, halfway through the first.
Well, Adelaide have got their 2 goals from clearances, and the Brisbane Lions have got it through counter-attack, through run through the middle of the ground. So 2 different styles at the minute.
And a good contest. Some free-flowing football. Dangerfield dragged down, got the kick away. Gardner again. Aish. Floats it long, close.
Gee, I thought his jumper held then close.
Does lay a tackle in the end on Henderson, drags him down. Strong tackle as well. Statement tackle. Another one on Crouch.
Grabbed the arm, so Crouch couldn't get the handball away. No prior opportunity deemed by the umpire. Really good contest in tight. Clearances are working in favour of Adelaide. As you see the players getting the wet towels on their shoulders. Hot conditions down there today.
Henderson wrapped up. Dangerfield against the boundary. And Maguire content to see that out of play.
Yeah, the full complement of interchanges will be met today, I would have thought. 120.
There is Maguire. Brisbane 6 teenagers in their 22. Adelaide none, but Adelaide no one over 27 years of age, and Brisbane has 4. So
that's a great stat, Blaine. It's exciting to watch, isn't it? The young Brisbane Lions, they're all got leg speed.
Rockcliffe gets that towards attacking 50. They're young, but Adelaide not old either. They're right in the window right now, Adelaide. Left a few of their older players home. Jacobs, Betts, one of their 27-year-olds, one of their older players today. Jacobs, Sloan, good turn, caught by Rockcliffe. Full 360, got it to right. Adcock. Taylor.
Danger. This run.
Aish.
Green's out.
If it sits, and it's sat nicely. Merritt's forward this time. Didn't quite get there. And Luke Thompson didn't complete it either.
No, it was well read though. He should have taken the mark, but at least he got in front of Merritt. Merritt would have taken that mark there.
Yeah, Merritt can be untidy with his spoiling, we know, in recent times.
Well, also, we did the game last week.
Accidental.
We were quite surprised.
Clumsy.
Taylor, caught, run down. Sloan, Green. Big pack forms around them now, for those unaware. Merritt got away with one last week that most people thought would have got him a week or two.
Well, Cam Pedersen, we were doing the game, Alistair, and I've got to be honest, I put 2 fingers up and he got off, so good luck to him.
Yeah, no, I think he was surprised as well.
Oh, dangerous, but didn't collect anyone. Zorko tries to back his way into a high tackle. Yeah, even Merritt was pretty happy, was he, to get off?
Well, I wouldn't say happy, relieved.
Right.
Surprised.
He's got fantastic peripheral vision, that's all we can say.
Good reflexes.
Yeah. Otten funnels it out. Lynch comes all the way down, relieves some pressure. It's nice.
It was a bit too easy, that release from that stoppage there.
That was. This is where they need to get their game up and going.
Eddie Betts over the top.
Oh, Betts can get and go here. He's got Walker in a one-on-one inside 50. Puts it to his advantage. Walker in position 1A.
Perfect kick.
That's
Beautifully
all
called, Dwight.
Forward just wants the 50-metre arc clear. One-on-one, 35 metres out from goal. Good weighted kick from Betts.
Yeah, Justin Lepich and the Brisbane coaches won't be too happy with that. It was a clearance deep in their forward 50, an easy out to Tom Lynch, and now a shot at goal.
Well, that's the thing. They pressed up. If you're going to press up, you can't let the ball come out quickly, and that's where Betts was out by himself.
Did kick 4-1 last week, so in reasonable form at the moment, Tex. And squeezes that in.
No, it's a terrific game of football at the moment. Both sides hitting the scoreboard. That's what we want to see. And yeah, I think Justin Lepich will be having a look at his half forwards and his wingmen. How they won the clearance and allowed Tommy Lynch to get on the end of that, then over the top to Betts getting out through the press, especially when Maguire was that extra play. You can just see here, Cam here, you see Eddie Betts just out of the screen a moment on the left, he gets it. Taylor Walker's just got him done cold there, but beautifully weighted kick. That's where you want the kick, right out in front.
And Lynchy, this is the beautiful thing about having your 3 tall forwards. We saw Lynch really push up high and get that kick coming out of the 50, and we saw Jenkins up on the wing, which allowed Walker then to sit inside 50. That's the key. That's the beauty of having those 3 keys.
Yeah, spot on.
Adcock, nice steal, and then Jacobs likewise a good steal back again. Pat Phillips flicks one out.
A spread from Martin.
So Mays to Martin.
Here's the extra for Adelaide, Brodie Martin.
Good to see Talia was able to take his place in the lineup for Adelaide as well after being concussed early last week, and it really was a costly loss for them.
Terrible loss after the just jumped out of the blocks, kicking those first 4 goals, and looked like they were just going to do it hands and heels. But
I think Josh Kennedy was very happy he went off with concussion.
Yes, I think so.
Brodie Smith
goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Brodie Smith goes back. Lions. Jenkins.
It's a bit easy. Got Tommy Lynch over the top, Dwayne.
Oh, it's a floater though. The mongrel. The chaos ball might work. Lynch gets there. Taps it out. Cameron around the body. Not quite.
He's got great reflexes. Charlie Cameron. That was good. Front and square.
Yeah. With that speed, dangerous on the ground as Paddy Dangerfield comes back on the field. It's really evened up this game. Disposals +7 Brisbane. Inside 50s are equal. And contested possessions slightly advantage for Adelaide.
Close. Let's get through his hands.
Yeah, be disappointed with that, Michael Klass.
And now Lynch is probably within range. Thinks about it. Just beyond. Lyons didn't know it was coming to him. He keeps it low. No one's in the square, and Harwood got back too easily.
The Lions didn't have enough space. As you said, he didn't know it was going to come to him, and it was a panicked handball from Lynch. He just wasn't confident at all from kicking from that 50-metre arc.
Jacobs, and again, just beyond his range, you would think. Looking at the big sticks, thinking about it. Short pass, is that 15?
No, that's too easy.
Lynch.
Yeah, just dropping off. I think Buick was dropping off. He was on Tom Lynch, who was the closest player, but he was protecting space rather than moving at the right time when Tom Lynch popped up into that area to take the mark.
One Adelaide's goal kicking last year with 33 for the season. 6 so far this year, one of them so far today. Looks okay off the boot, drifting a little, but it's there. Adelaide have kicked the last 2.
No, he's a good inclusion. He's that half forward, as Cameron Mooney was alluding to. He's the hit-up type target and allows him to play his natural game when you've got Jenkins and Taylor Walker there. So pretty ordinary defence again there from Brisbane Lions, allowing Tommy Lynch and Justin Lepich will be asking the question. It's okay to guard some dangerous space, but when a forward who's 6'4" ducks into a spot about 40 metres out in the corridor, you need to man him up. It's as simple as that. So good start there to Lynch to the game.
Yeah, the Crows have just got on top over the last 3 minutes, kicking 3 unanswered goals. Disposals, they're plus 20 for the last 10 minutes of play, and just really starting to dominate. 6-3 inside 50s, resulting in 3 goals won to no score.
Dangerfield hassled nicely by Rockcliffe. Didn't wrap him up to give away a free. And didn't allow him to handball it away either. Secondary ball up.
And what Adelaide have been able to do is stop that run through the middle of the ground at half back. They've really switched on.
Yeah.
Jacobs down. Dangerfield through traffic. Bouncing ball. Lynch favoured by the bounce. Should get there first and then not favoured by it. Gardner. Buick dragged down. Robertson has Crisp. Uses him on the left. Heads it wide. Zorko put the Jets on. Through Freeman, the first gamer. Stolen back by Green. Might run all the way in. Does. Brilliant.
Some really good work from Buick, Crisp in tight as well, and Robertson a good handball over, but this long ball goes in. Now the ball comes to ground, great closing speed from Zorko, but great work from Josh Green. He operates very close to the ground, and he didn't quite put it over the boundary line, but backed himself in, probably run the best part of 20 metres, but that is a very, very good goal. Not sure he was considering giving it off at any stage.
Never.
But why would you when you got that sort of pace, and just sniffed out that goal. Very important reply after some domination from the Adelaide Crows over the last 10 minutes of the game. Joshy Green had a quiet game in game 50 last week against the D's. Back in some touch this week.
Rory Sloane held. There are a few now like Green, like Harwood, who've played their 50 games now. Done their apprenticeship in essence. Sloane pumps it long. Jenkins.
Good strong hands.
Oh, he plays on. Well, that.
No, I don't think you can from a mark, can you? You can't play on from a mark, can you?
Well, he's going to pay it.
He's paid it.
I'm not sure you can play on from a mark.
Until the umpire
you're
says
spot on, boys. You can't play on from a mark unless he's paid the free kick.
So the umpire, I think the umpire upstairs has actually told the field umpire that you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, they're bringing it back now, guys.
But you can't do that either, can you? Can the upstairs umpire tell you to overrule yourself?
Well, it just has.
It's the right decision, smart decision, though, that they have done that, I think.
Well, it's the right decision we've got to.
You can't play him for a mark till the umpire says play on, and that obviously didn't happen. So
there was some confusion out there, but it's the right result so far. You'd like to just see this go through for a goal just to square it all up.
Bit of pressure on him now.
Come on, Josh.
3 goals last week against the West Coast. Well, 2 wrongs and we get another wrong.
Oh, the big Texans filthy. He felt that he had a goal.
It's probably the matchup that they want to get deep as they can there, Leachy. I mean, he's got a good 10, 12 kilos on his opponent at the moment, Jenkins.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, there's some tall defenders back there for the Lions, but inexperienced. Now, Patrick Dangerfield, he's demanding to Nick Robinson to get off the mark on a scratch in a mark there. And he'll make this journey by several metres. Prodigious kick of the ball.
Just had the mid-20s possession-wise the past 2 games. Had a 41 possession game a few weeks ago against the Hawks. He's been carrying injuries, knee still strapped, but he is captain this afternoon.
Where's a lot of heat now, Dwayne?
Absolutely. 15 goals, 18 this year, and that straight through the middle.
He's a class act. Very classy player, and took it on himself to go back and have the shot from 50. And here's the kick out from Tommy Rockcliffe. Pulled the 35-metre pass to Nick Robinson, and just Dangerfield read it very early off the boot and just ducked in front of the inclusion for this week, Robinson. And that's a 55-metre kick straight over the umpire's hat, Spud, and another very nice goal for the Crows.
Well, the beauty of it, Dangerfield's slotted him with 1 there, but all their talls are getting on the scoreboard as well in these conditions. Lynch with 2. As you said, Dangerfield with that goal, Walker and Jacobs. So, and Jenkins having an impact. So all the tall players for Adelaide having some impact in this first quarter.
Dying seconds. Players need a rest right now. They're sweating. It's a hot afternoon by Australian football standards right now for this time of the year. Brodie Martin pounces, drives it long, looks good off the boot.
Whoa.
Off the scale.
Very nice kick around the body, and that's a good backup goal. And Martin just takes the lead out to 15 points here from the centre clearance. Good tap from Jacobs down. Now the kick is out in front of Walker, who puts on enough of a block to clear the space for Martin. And Martin just saw that 50-metre arc, pinned the ears back, and backed himself to kick it. And that is good work from big Taylor Walker, just to put enough of a block to clear the space for his teammate. Pierce Hanley hasn't had a kick at this stage. 4 disposals. We know that he was well over 1,000 metres gained a couple of weeks ago. 4 handballs wouldn't be far.
So still
just having a spell
9 seconds left.
Pierce.
Wraparound tackle on Aish by Sloane. 3 seconds left. Good finish.
Well, it's a terrific game of football. If this first quarter is any indication, we're in for a cracker of a game.
So the siren sounds on a 10-goal opening term here at the Gabba. Seen some.
They're ranked 16th in the competition from 20 minutes onwards. The red time, 4 goals, 2 Adelaide kicked in red time in the start of that first quarter. So that's an area of concern, and it's probably the youth factor as well.
Well, that's right, and they've just got to hang in the contest, and they're up against a quality opponent that can have those bursts and tear you apart. But what a matchup that is. Tommy Rockcliffe and Patrick Dangerfield, no doubt, will feature in the All-Australian side, Spudley, at the end of the year.
I feel like I'm sitting on a Bunsen burner here at the moment.
It's all right. Everybody believes that Rockcliffe is in. Dangerfield might be borderline. Ball up in the middle. Jacobs, who's in according to Lynchy as well. Down to Dangerfield, who's not quite in, but still has this game and 3 more to come. Aish, who might win the NAB Rising Star. Hanley, who's a contender as well, flicks it out wide. Good players wherever you look in this contest. Sloane, Yench, back to Hanley. There's the skills we spoke of. Centering kick just missed the target. Mays at the back. Spins it around the body. Perfect start, Brisbane.
Well, that's the Pierce Hanley factor again. There's no doubting that Pierce Hanley, they've done a really good job trying to make sure he doesn't kick the ball, but it was the secondary effort there. He got the ball in there, and as Dwayne rightly said, it was a magnificent finish in the end. Beautiful goal.
He's an impressive player.
Well, the beauty about Sam Mose as well, Alistair, they've all got leg speed. All the youngsters they've brought into the fold, and in conditions like this, really good pressure, half-forward line pressure to create the turnover. Pierce Hanley gets the secondary possession there, kicks it to a really dangerous spot.
It's a good kick on his left foot as well. The Irishman, he's a very polished player, so is that young man.
Great finish.
From the restart. Rockcliffe put on his backside, clearance to Crisp. Hands it off to Rockcliffe. Poke pass is okay in the end. So shot it coming up from close.
Is it
for about 48 out?
Another one of the young players coming through. Close, high draft pick.
Zorko's
very well
running off the ground with half a limp. I know Cameron Mooney will be all over that, so put his hand up and just ask the bench, can he come off? So hopefully he's okay.
His first touch, I think, for Michael Close.
15 seconds.
For 2 in a row to start the second term. Strikes it okay, but it drifts.
Seems to be his left foot down here, Spud. He's just taking the boot and sock off, and the physio is just checking. May have just been stepped on top of the foot there, so just keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, hopefully that's all it is for Dane Zorko.
Smith to McKay. Nice delivery outside 50. Yench about to be hunted down. Just got it off to Jacobs, who wants to give it off again if he can. Back to Smith, who started it all kicking in from fullback. Wide to Lynch. Got there, good play.
Good contested mark.
Walker wants it in quickly. He's on the lead now.
And it's over his head. Jenkins was down there, ball thumped to the back. Patful, Buick. Robertson left it behind. Sloan went down low and hard. Rockcliffe stole it back. McStay, Hanley, hunted down by Lynch.
What they've been able to do with Pierce Hanley today, I know he's had the 7 disposals, but he's only had the 2 kicks, so the 1 kick, sorry, so 6 handballs. We know last week that secondary effort, that handball receive, and then that long penetrating kick can really hurt the opposition. So they've gone to school on Pierce Hanley.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago it was 1,062 metres gained. In the first quarter he only had 42, so a big drop off.
Yeah. Lynch down there couldn't get the run out, and Gardner's fist wins out, gets a couple of high fives. As we mentioned, he's been nominated for the NAB Rising Star.
Some huge raps on Darcy Gardner. A very competitive, strong, sort of third tall, second tall defender.
Well, the Geelong Falcon gave this club Jonathan Brown, of course, in Queenscliff. High, full forward, off hands. Good attack in the end from Maguire. Handball looked a little untidy. Martin, right. Jacobs, Crouch. Yench sizes them up from outside the paint.
He's got plenty of it.
Yeah, he kicked that well. But you just feel that there's the run with roll.
Yeah, Richie Douglas doing an outstanding job so far on Hanley.
Yeah, he's just making sure that Hanley doesn't get north of the contest, and as he can do, once he gets some space, you won't catch him at all.
And the 1 kick he has had, Hanley's been ineffective. So at this stage, Brendan Sanderson will be wrapped with the negating role Richie Douglas is doing on Pierce Hanley.
Buick hugs the boundary, and there's Hanley on cue. And he'll get a kick here. Bright sunshine, magnificent conditions, if not a little warm, according to Adelaide coach Brendan Sanderson, who cooked the AFL rules pre-game, complaining about interchange rotation caps.
Yeah, you interviewed him before the game, Al, so you definitely put it on the agenda, didn't you?
Yeah, well, actually, it was refreshing to hear the frank conversation and thoughts on the heat. He felt it was certainly concerns about the player health in these sort of conditions with the limited rotations.
Hanley caught a little high. I said keep going. Robertson tried to flick it up. Aish does flick it up. Buick's handball smothered. Finds its way to Lewis Taylor's. Sloan, palm down to right. Feeds it back. They've worked this pretty well. Martin, not so good. Put Brown under some pressure. Stephen Martin, sidestep was superb. Rolls it, tumbles it behind.
Showed a bit of candy and just stepped around nicely. Rory Sloan just gets up and limps. Might have got just rolled the ankle slightly.
Lynchy, I want to ask about Stephen Martin. He's obviously just about one of the best ruckmen in the competition over the last 5 weeks. What do they do with he and Leuenberger when he decides to come back?
It's going to be an extremely interesting task for the coaching staff. We'll come back to that in a sec.
Tex has the flying shot. And he had a couple of other options as well. Back to you, Moons.
It will be, Moons. It will be an interesting one because Matty Leuenberger in the last couple of years has been tried as a key forward. When young Billy Longer came into the side, they thought He might be able to play Leuenberger forward, but in the end he couldn't hold down that key forward post, so Longer had to go out of the side and Leuenberger back into the midfield. You can see that may happen again for Stefan Martin.
I think it's fair to say Martin as a key forward doesn't really work as much as him just as a ruckman either.
No, nowhere near it. I think for both absolutely key number one ruckman, they don't play that second ruck role well at all.
Well, at the moment, I think Brendan Sands will be pretty happy with the job Jacobs has been able to do on Stefan Martin. He's had 7 disposals himself, but he's had 20 hit-outs to 8, Sam Jacobs, so he's well on top in that area, which is quite into the clearance as well, 16 to 11.
Well, I think they know he's going to win the hit-outs. Where he needs coverage is to block Martin when he gets on the outside.
Dangerfield puts it to the pocket. Walker, fantastic spoil in the end. Clark.
Dive. Yeah, well, he did that well, Allison, didn't he? Because he didn't engage in the one-on-one, knowing that he's giving away a fair bit of weight to Taylor Walker, probably about a good 15 kilos. He just played off and then used his athleticism to spike the ball over the boundary line.
Yeah, a very intelligent man and a very intelligent footballer. Identified that a one-on-one contest is not going to work out well for him.
Yeah, this is his second choice job being an AFL footballer. Wanted to be an Air Force pilot, but he was too tall, Alistair.
Lucky for the Brisbane Lions, he was too tall.
Couldn't fit into the cockpit.
Well, this is the first time Brisbane have been able to get their running game going this quarter.
So Buick.
Maguire's on the run.
On the run to Maguire. Got away from Jenkins and really sized them up.
He's a massive chance to swing and tee it up.
There he goes. He swings. He tees it up. Gets plenty of club on it. Hit the post.
Yeah, we saw a goal from outside 50 from Big Goose Maguire a couple of weeks ago from a similar position. Piers Hanley, not great weather for the Irishman. The pasty skin. Oh, big barrel down the middle.
Down the middle.
It's gone to the middle of the ground.
Cameron and Pat full fly. Dangerfield waits. Hunted down by Robertson. Crouch, Sloan, McKay. Oh, ran in to Harwood, and it's ball.
Perfect tackle. Incorrect disposal there. Tried to sell the candy and didn't get away with it.
Rockcliffe just beyond his range.
Coming up for a disposal number 12.
Centering kick. Jacobs was in the hole.
Yeah, you have to identify the loose man in Jacobs on that occasion.
Scrambles. Keeps it in the area.
And it's more the leading player as well, because he led and led into Jacobs' area. He just had to identify the extra player, especially if Jacobs is standing 40 metres out directly in front. It's a beautiful tap.
Yench. Another bomb. Turns Walker inside out. Maguire kept his eye on the ball the whole time.
Oh, Taylor on the run.
He's got a good set of wheels.
He has. If it sits, it rolls away from him initially and then tantalisingly stays in. Corralled well by McKay. Taylor wants the 1-2. May's wrapped up. Good pressure, both sides at the moment. Through the traffic, Smith nicely. Jenkins, the stop and prop kick. Patfull shields his eyes from the sun. Cameron almost stole it from him. Couldn't run away with it.
Good second effort though, Graham.
Lynch put his head down and still got it for too high.
Yeah, Tommy Rockcliffe,
and he's hurt.
So he dropped his head.
Yeah.
I suppose in that situation though, you want to drop your head to protect your own welfare, because if he keeps his head up.
Well, I agree there. His head was down anyway, so just at the last minute he has dropped it to try to protect himself from Clark coming in. There, drops it. I think it was going to be high anyway.
And he's hurt.
Yeah,
so
he's hurt.
That's an indicator that he was trying to protect his own welfare and wasn't really deliberately playing for the free kick.
No, it was good courage. There's no doubting that whatsoever.
And the AFL will be extremely careful here.
Yeah, as they always are. Look after the players. Justin
Clark's hurt as well.
A bit slow. He was the tackler.
He's more winded, I think, Justin Clark.
I don't think this is a head injury with Tom Lynch, but there is an instant concern to get the stretcher, so this is not a good sign.
Just back into the lineup this week. He's had an injury interrupted season. Lynch just his 8th game for the year.
Now is it? Oh no, he's there looking after the neck.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll keep a very close eye on that, because that...
Justin Clark's walking off as well, so he's walking off to the trainers there, just to the right of the screen.
Yeah, this is obviously a lot of care taken, but it does appear they're addressing the neck and they're putting the brace on. Now we do see this on a regular basis. This is a lot of care from the doctors.
This is world's best practice, the AFL, the medical staff, the doctors and physios. They do an extremely good job.
It's not the one where they've got the ball and he's upright, and he does the other time. He's bending over and then just realises it's something technical.
Just hear the debate going on between the umpires.
Jonathan Brown in the coaching box.
And no players, neither side, want to see this. Obviously Tom Lynch, it appears that he's got a head knock and the neck's been addressed as they do everything they possibly can to make sure the spine doesn't move as they get him onto the stretcher. And here it is again.
Yeah,
just drops
nasty.
his head.
Actually,
it's hit Justin Clark's hip, and it's squeezed his head back in towards his chest. But, a lot of concern from very early.
Yeah,
he looks concerned as well.
They take a lot of time here.
And just the precaution level, I think, gives you an indication that Lynch has given them some indicators that he needs to be treated very, very carefully.
Yeah, you see, you don't often see the ambulance officers on the field, to be honest.
it's very rare they come on the ground, but obviously...
And you tend to see the assessment take a bit more time, but instantly there was addressing the neck and get him onto the stretcher. So the doctors are out there. He's in very good care, as are the paramedics. His hands were moving and he seemed to be conscious.
Adelaide Crows obviously will consider their sub. It doesn't look like he's coming off with concussion, so they can't actually bring their sub on as a wait-and-see precaution. But this looks like he's going to go to hospital from here, you would think, straight to hospital and get assessed immediately. Mitch Grigg, the sub for the Adelaide Crows.
And they're just obviously making that sub as we speak down here, guys. We're just seeing Mitch just run onto the ground now.
Thanks, Moons.
Cameron Mooney will get a report from the club doctors when he can, for those concerned people watching around Australia, but especially those in Adelaide concerned as to the condition of Tom Lynch right now.
And his parents, family. I know Andrew Lynch.
Down your way?
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Lynch. They'll be... the doctors, they do a really good job, the clubs now, in informing the parents.
Oh, that's right.
On the state of any player, and obviously they'll be on the phone as we speak.
Just heard that from the interchange bench that it is the temporary concussion interchange, so we'll have 20 minutes to assess the situation, but the likelihood of Tom Lynch coming back would be slim, I would have thought. They're just taking a lot of care to make sure he gets off the ground and assessed downstairs before most probably going up the road to the hospital, which is only about 1 kilometre away.
Some applause of best wishes from the Brisbane players as well.
And Stephen Martin, who was the closest there. A little acknowledgement. So he's chatting away his Tom Lynch to the doctor. Bit of a discussion.
Taylor Walker's going to take the free kick.
It's a difficult time for teammates.
Yeah, it is.
To switch back on when you see this from a teammate. Goes off on a stretcher.
Taylor, that's your line, Mark.
Obviously some concerns, so big task for players from both teams, really.
So Taylor Walker now has to concentrate on the game at hand, even though one of his good friends has gone off on a stretcher and will be headed to hospital. And Cameron Mooney, as I mentioned, on the boundary line, will give us an update as soon as possible.
Yeah, the psyche of both teams will be no doubt dented, Alistair. I've got no doubting that.
Absolutely.
But as professional players, you just have to switch on now and knowing that he's in really good hands, Tom Lynch.
Absolutely. As best you can, you try to switch on, make sure that you attack the contest. You'll be looking forward to getting half-time and checking on your teammate, but a lot easier said than done than the expectations of professional athletes, just to turn back on, but very difficult.
It's an ordinary turnover.
Sloan knocks it down. Right, the centre back inside 50. A couple of dance steps. Eddie Betts got one to the ear.
Yeah.
Harwood gave him one.
That was the old ear massage, Dwayne. We got away with that 10 or 15 years ago. And that's the beauty of Eddie Betts, isn't he? He marks the ball as a tall forward, running, jumping at the ball. There's no down there. Right, Ryan Harwood had one intention, was to get the ball, but unfortunately got too high on that occasion.
Eddie Betts hasn't seen a lot of it yet. Couple of skip steps. Nice off the boot. Goal umpire does not move. So they've immediately settled back into the groove.
Yeah, good little passage again after the Brisbane Lions kicked the first goal in this term. It's been a bit of an arm wrestle, and obviously we've had a fair bit of time off with Tom Lynch being taken from the ground. But the build-up here, the use of a short pass into the forward 50 puts a lot of pressure on the defenders. And Ryan Harwood just got a bit of high contact towards Eddie Betts, and that's a really nice kick from the best part of 50 metres out.
Will Stephen Martin be relieved that Jacobs is having a bit of a spell, because he's won all 7 hit-outs the start of this quarter, Sam Jacobs. So Jenkins into the ruck for Adelaide.
I think that's an important area that the Lions really need to look at. He hasn't got the bulk or the height, Stephen Martin, so I think they need some assistance as a third-up jumper, just to take that advantage away from Jacobs.
Just picks it up.
Yeah. And there it goes.
Yeah, well done.
Rockcliffe flicks it out. Hanley on the move. Douglas tries to track him down. He shakes him. Top of the square. Rolling ball. Here's the first game of Freeman. Sidestep. He hasn't seen much of it yet. That's his first kick. And he joins the illustrious club. That's out on the full.
His eyes lit up there.
Yeah, he thought he was joining the other club.
Yes.
The goal with the first kick in AFL football, John O'Freeman. He's a Brisbane local that his family moved to Noosa.
Is he the first player to play for the Lions from their academy? From
their academy. It's been in place for 3 or 4 years, so it's an exciting prospect. Had a few injuries last year in the championships, but very exciting, big key forward.
I'm led to believe Adelaide tried to bid for him too, so he's obviously got some talent.
Well, they did, so that pushed the... they had to take him at pick 39 instead of last pick in the draft.
Yeah, Adelaide did bid pick 42 for him, and that's the academy situation. There's been some controversies to academies, especially up north, and the Melbourne club's not that happy about it.
No, well, I think it's still good that you can bid for the player though, so there's not a great advantage, but it's great to see Brisbane stuck fat and went with him.
And working the local area. Charlie Cameron, one of those Queenslanders playing AFL now who isn't with the Brisbane Lions. Bouncing ball. Walker hands it over the top. Brody Martin already kicked a ripper in the opening term.
It's actually too easy for him.
It was. Had plenty of time. Just on the academies, it is an extremely important component of the northern clubs, because the reality is, like my son's school, for example, they have a 4-week AFL season, and your first grade rugby union players aren't allowed to play. So it is a battle to get players in some of these schools to actually play AFL football, and if they do, it's only going for 4 weeks anyway.
Well, thump back towards the boundary. In fact, if we have a look around the ground today, we might see a famous AFL superstar from Fitzroy and a famous Sydney Melbourne coach's son, mightn't we?
Yeah, young Tyler Roos has spent the last 4 or 5 days up here. He's playing his football with Sandy Dragons, played with New South Wales in the national champs, and is obviously a candidate to be drafted by the Brisbane Lions under the father-son rule.
So not available under the coach-son rule for Sydney, and not available under the coach-son rule for Melbourne.
No, thankfully.
Jenkins long, top of the square, Walker down there, and again he drifts in, and Brody Martin will have the shot.
He just got a free jump at that one, Brodie Martin. He's not a big player, but got out in front, and that's a cardinal mistake from the defenders of Brisbane Lions. Any player in AFL football, you get a free run and jump at a contest like that, going to be very hard to stop.
Well, they just allowed Darcy Gardner to go one-on-one, and that's why Maguire and Patfull would be really disappointed themselves not being able to get a spike on that ball.
This is for the biggest margin of the game to either team. 22 points.
Again, just stretching out to a nasty distance now for the Brisbane Lions. Adelaide looked pretty confident in the last 10-15 minutes, and in that time they kicked 2 goals for, so they're peppering the goal face. And here it is, Martin he was by himself and just ran past Clark and Walker to take a very easy mark. Essentially, that's an uncontested grab.
Really disappointing.
15 metres out, dead in front from goal. So disappointing from the Lions' defensive point of view. There's the matchup, and there is a big back line down there. So Maguire at this stage has got the matchup on Martin, as we'll see the umpire call that one back.
Cameron Mooney's got an update on Tom Lynch's condition. Moons.
Well, we're just speaking to one of the trainers down here, guys. It seems to be okay at the moment. They're just doing a few more tests to see exactly how he is, but he's getting a lot of movement in his hands and legs and speaking to everybody, so that's good news so far.
So movement in both his legs and his arms and hands. Okay, so that is
great news.
Yeah, that's worry-settling news right there. Otten. So we did see his arms move.
Yeah.
Didn't really see a lot of movement other than his hands initially. Give you a more extensive update as the afternoon progresses. It'll be a long term, of course, with that huge stoppage. Already 23 minutes have elapsed in this quarter, and we've got at least another 8 and change to come. So hot conditions, difficult conditions. Brenton Sanderson complained, the Adelaide coach, about them pre-game, about interchange caps and no extended breaks, and this is going to be one of the longer games of the year. Buick sidestep nicely, puts it back to the hot spot, rolling ball. That was a good nudge on close by Luke Thompson. Edged him out legally, ball was within the required distance. Henderson straight down the middle, Patfull gobbles it up.
Well read.
The big numbers back, the Crows.
Crisp. Zorko had to stop, wait. It's back just outside 50 to Buick.
You just suggest if they go long, it's really going to suit the Adelaide key defenders in Talia and Thompson, and especially Jacobs. That's why Brisbane are so intent on moving the ball and trying to get precise delivery inside their forward 50.
Gardner for Robertson, gave him the hot ball.
That's
probably holding the ball. I'm not sure how long you need.
That's none cold. Now we just see the change with Steph Martin going off again. Here's the tackle on Robinson. He's got an option to go then, but doesn't want to release. So McStay's gone forward, Merritt into the ruck. They've brought a small to go back. So just reshuffling the sizes and shapes that have seen McStay go forward successfully over the last 2 weeks. Pierce Hanley just working out with Daniel Merritt where he's going to tap this one. Might just want to watch Jacobs' hand, I would have thought.
He doesn't look like he's going to tap this quarter.
The lines to Sloane. Maguire got there, took on Charlie Cameron. McStay, little fumble, Patfull mops it up. McStay, Maguire, Harwood, Robertson. Close jumps, just jumped under it. Green wanted to get and go, kept it alive nicely. And couldn't quite get it to roll for him.
He's got some life.
Well, the eyes lit up there when he was just looking at bounce of the ball. It just needed to bounce right another couple of metres and he could have run into another open goal.
Jacobs and Martin again. Smith. Taylor Walker. Nice collect after the bounce and shook Clark away. Drives it long. Cameron, it's a bit too wide for him. He used his body on McStay.
On the ground, McStay.
Cameron about to collect and go. Sees 3 around him. Back to Walker. Centering kick. Talia's drifted down.
You can switch this up as well.
To Yench.
Yeah, good switch.
Back to the middle. Likes his chances from there. Gets a ton on it. That's out of here.
No, that was a beautiful switch. Well done from Talia running down there off his direct opponent, Michael Close. And really good switch, and that's what AFL players and most clubs do. When you look up and you've got extra numbers inside your midfield, just kick long over the zone, and Matty Yench just unloaded from 55. It was a magnificent kick. Firstly, Taylor Walker. Then we see Talia looking in. He looked inboard. There's extra Brisbane Lions players, so it was a really good switch there to Matty Yench, and just manning the mark wasn't too good there on that occasion.
A really good term from the Adelaide Crows, just working into this game beautifully. After a slow start the first 10 minutes of the first term, clearances 5 goals to 0. Scores from clearances, and that's a big result in favour of the Crows.
Now they've put the pedal down here. Right now they can sniff a big day coming up, and Greg the sub, who's come on with Tom Lynch gone for the afternoon, you would think, and probably gone to hospital. We'll give you an update as to his condition later on today if you have just joined us. That's a terrible delivery. Eddie Betts slips the tackle, gives to Douglas, slips Hanley, gets the kick back at goal, and it's the face.
You don't want to be turning the ball over 30 metres out directly in front.
Hanley again. Longer this time. Aish is going to have to go. Dangerfield. Greg keeps it alive, does Greg. That's too wide though for Cameron, although
No, it's out in the full, Dwayne. If you're wondering about your ruck setups, Dwayne, with Stephen Martin and Jacobs, you can see Jacobs and the amount of goals they've scored from clearances. I know Stephen Martin's got a bit of the ball, but in close, Jacobs has been absolutely outstanding today.
Buick got it from Adcock. Into the corridor, Harwood.
Now, this is where Adelaide's put a lot more heat on Brisbane, trying to switch and run through the middle of the ground. So they've gone to school after the first 10 minutes of this game. It looked like Brisbane were going to have their own way in the corridor. And Adelaide have really manned the Brisbane Lions up through the middle of the ground.
Robertson. Stephen Martin. Adelaide have kicked the last 3 goals of this game.
The 3 goals, 5 they've kicked this quarter for 12 entries. So the Brisbane Lions defence working overtime.
Zorko spears that. Green used his body on Brown. Brown quick enough. Green just too quick. Got there first, toes it through.
Tell him to come down to me ASAP.
Beautifully called there, Dwayne. There's no doubt Green, his eyes lit up. He potted him up around the back there. Head down to Cameron Mooney.
Well, it looks like Otten's gone down here, guys, and I think he's done a knee. From what I saw, he grabbed at his knee just as he went into that marking contest. He's gone on the ground as we see him here at the moment and has not moved. He's in a fair bit of pain. So it looks like 2 guys will be off in a stretcher in 5 minutes.
So he's had the knee reco as well. And that might be the knee that he's had the reco on.
He's already had a knee reconstruction. You're right, Dwayne.
So that is
There's no question it was
news.
the first thing he went for, Dwayne. He went straight for the knee. You could see it. He lost all balance because he was only on the one leg. He just couldn't put any weight on it, unfortunately.
No, it's disappointing.
He missed all of 2010 due to that knee reco, and there it goes.
Oh, yeah, his right knee.
Yeah, and he's almost with the realisation straight away.
Yep. Before he hit the ground, you could see what was going on there. That's really disappointing.
So they will be 2 players down for the entire second half, Adelaide. They need to get some sort of lead right now. In this heat, 25, 26 degrees. First time they've played in this heat all season. In the hottest part of the day here in Brisbane. And now Tom Lynch and Andy Otten won't take any further part in the game, we suspect.
You know, it's really disappointing for Andy Otten. It's a cruel blow. Let's hope for the best, Wayne, with the way he went down. The look of resignation on his face as well.
holding that right knee. And he's off, Andy Otten. And even for finals aspirations, this not good news for the Adelaide Crows.
He's such a good player. He plays small and tall, and he can go forward at times. Umpire reset.
We were out there pre-game, and it did seem like a really hard, fast surface today.
It did.
Cricket pitch in the middle, getting ready for the summer here at the Gabba.
There's Jacobs again. He's having a field day out there today.
Sloan got one too high. And now Dangerfield's down and hurt.
I think it's time the Brisbane Lions started. I know they probably are roaming to Sam Jacobs, but his hit-outs to advantage have been a delight to watch so far in this game.
Going to be a very long and hot quarter for the Adelaide Crows and Brisbane. Sloan long, Jenkins, Walker, right off hands, rolls it all the way home.
Well, it starts in the middle of the ground. Sam Jacobs hit outs to advantage, and Sloan drew the free kick. Then they get it out over the top to Matty Wright, which is a magnificent finish in the end. Here's the kick from Sloan, just the long penetrating kick to a really dangerous spot that any defence. But again, for the ball to slip over the back is really disappointing. We could see earlier on the defenders didn't go up for the high ball. They went up for the high ball on this occasion. As soon as it goes over the back, no defender worth his salt is going to stop that shot at goal.
Equal biggest lead of the game, 29 points. But this will be a 37, maybe even 38-minute quarter here in this heat. And they're two men down. McKay pumps it to half forward. Walker thumps it on. Martin, bounced unkindly for him. Tackle laid, well by Jenkins. Pressure on Adcock. Ball spills. Eddie to McKay. Got clear. Handball wasn't really necessary. Eddie gives it back out to Sloan. He gets it through. Quick succession. Adelaide on fire.
Well, they're on fire, Dwayne, but they're on fire in red time. 8 goals, 3 now in red time for Adelaide. I know we're talking about they've got 2 players down in Ottens and Lynch. But the facts are, red time for this young Brisbane Lions team. They're just running right over the top of them. That's 8 goals, 3 in red time so far. And we've still got 3.5 minutes left. So real worrying signs here for the Brisbane Lions.
Should play his 100th, round 23 this year. Rory Sloan back in the middle. 35 points the margin now. And a free kick to the Brisbane Lions. Speaking of Lions, I think it was Lions in off the square too quickly.
Yeah, it was Jared Lyons, Dwayne. Correct, mate.
Buick almost. Smith clever. Luke Thompson back to Smith. Players look at the scoreboard here. 35 gone. They think the siren's probably going any second. Merritt. Douglas gathers the spill to Lyons. Dangerfield over his head. Good attack from Robertson. Took too long. Gone.
Their tackling's been really good today, Adelaide. 36 tackles to 27.
Dangerfield on the rebound. Charlie Cameron within range.
Well, he needs to kick this now, Dwayne. I looked across and Josh Jenkins had a paddock. Well done.
He goes to the pocket. Crouch from 25 and he sprays it.
Another good game from Brad Crouch. 12 disposals.
He's been having some massive numbers lately. 30 last week against the West Coast. He had 40 a couple of weeks ago as well.
That tackle that we just saw there, it was through the corralling and frontal pressure through the middle of the ground and
through Buick's hands, McKay. So they are finishing the stronger of the two teams in this heat right now. The Adelaide Crows. Douglas.
Well, it's 9 goals, 3 now, Dwayne, in red time. Adelaide. This is their highest half-time score thus far. We've still got more than 2 minutes of play left. Douglas thinks he's a chance at this.
Socks up.
15. He's always right on it.
36 minutes now gone. Second term. Give you a big update at halftime. Andy Otten and Tom Lynch done for the day. So Adelaide down to just 2 through the bench. And Douglas heads long. It's across the face.
No, it's a bit of spoil.
Comes through for a behind. Just dominated the last 13, 14 minutes, the Adelaide Crows.
Yeah, it's through the clearance. Through the clearance as well, Dwayne. 26-14 in Adelaide's favour. The Sam Jacobs factor.
Maguire coming off through the blood rule. Adelaide will be back inside the top 8 tonight if they win, and their destiny for finals will be in their own hands with 3 games left in the season after today. And they've got next week Richmond at Adelaide Oval, North Melbourne in Hobart, and then St Kilda, Adelaide Oval, last game of the season. They need to put this one in the bank. 37 points the margin now, biggest lead of the game, but a lot of football left. Use of the body, but Merritt still too strong.
Been fairly quiet, Daniel Merritt. Disposal number 3.
Oh, that was ugly. Hanley.
They've just lost their spark, haven't they, Brisbane Lions? The scoreboard's dictating the way they're playing at the minute.
They look tired. They look spent.
Yeah.
Hanley to Patful. Wipes the sweat from his hands and takes the mark.
As I said, Adelaide is still smarting from that defeat last week, so there's no way knowing they're going to stop running. I know they're 2 down, but they've just got the hunger in their eyes, Adelaide.
Dangerfield, good fist, got all Sharon, took it out of play.
There's a perfect example of Dangerfield then. He could just sat back and watch Robertson mark that ball, but every contest has got something on the end of it here for Adelaide at the moment.
Even though they did stand around and not have to run at the ball for a good 4 or 5 minutes, they did have to stand around in the sun and not get a real rest in the rooms. Rolling ball through traffic. Eddie Betts off the deck. It's been for him. Miraculous.
You could tell with your voice, Dwayne, it was going only one place. Straight through the middle of the goals. It's just a beautiful strike, wasn't it? Any player in the world will be happy with that strike from Eddie Betts, who just got all the ball. Let's have a look. In traffic, loose ball, really good defence. The Adelaide half forwards, I think that's what Brendan Sanders will be wrapped with after the first 10 minutes there. Half forward have put a lot of pressure on the Brisbane young defence, and Eddie Betts, we needed something special. We got that from Eddie. It's a great halftime score, isn't it? 12 goals, 10-82.
They're on track for a 24-goal game.
Yeah, no doubting that.
18 goals for the game in total. 30 seconds left. Ball flicked down. They're not done yet. Dangerfield could go all the way. Loads up. Merritt gets back. Just out of his reach as well.
I'll tell you what, all the Adelaide midfields need to go and put Sam Jacobs' hands in the ice bath, because some of the service he's giving these midfielders today, Dwayne, is first class.
Short and cut off by Walker. Still danger. 15 seconds. Cameron flicks it up. Walker, little fumble. Took it across the boundary. Still time enough. 10 seconds left.
Again, good forward line pressure.
44 points the margin. Could they pump it to 50 on the siren? Back into play, and they'll need a big lead. They're 2 men down. Ball flicked down. Comes back to Jacobs. Can he get the kick away in time? Martin relieves the pressure. Siren sounds. Half-time at the Gabba. A win today, and their finals destiny is... Fitness will be an issue. Brett Burton, of course, the fitness coach for the Brisbane Lions as well. Back in the middle.
Good job, Brett Burton, for the Brisbane Lions.
That microphone fixed. Ball knocked down to ground. Taken off by Zorko. Flicks it out. Mays, little fumble. Not the start that he wanted. There's that dive in, low tackle. Pierce Hanley with the head down. Douglas gets it free. Crouch flicks it up. Yench. McKay. Jenkins calls for it in a one-on-one with Maguire. It's been a good one-on-one. Body use fantastic by Maguire.
Well, he elected to take the front position. That was the beauty of that mark there from Maguire.
Protected the drop zone, took a really strong grab overhead. A lot of experience and strength.
Adcock. Harwood. Mays.
We're just interested to see how the Brisbane Lions recover from that first half, Alistair, because out of their 6 goals, 6 goals, 1 were from scoring from turnovers. So they just need to generate some ball through the clearances. We know that Adelaide were just absolutely smashed Brisbane in the first half, some scores from stoppages.
Well, that's right, and the scores from turnovers came in that first quarter, that great rebound where we had a wave, almost like a rugby union backline spread.
Close. Jeez, I like this from Brisbane though, guys. They're making Adelaide defend everything they do. They're making them run, they're making them work, they're trying to tire them out very quickly. It's great coaching.
Spot on, Moons. It's 20 versus 22 for the second half. Cutting it off Dangerfield because Adelaide 2 players down. Adelaide will run out of rotations, you would think, today. Brenton Sanderson will use all 120. He's allowed 120 plus what rotations he can get going during the breaks.
Yeah, well, they've had 61. They're right on the money at the moment, Dwayne. 61 interchanges.
Sloan to McKay, played on into Paparone. Anderson. Sloan sits on him a little. Missed it away. Strange start to the second half. Is towed to right. Tries to break free. Jenkins, Jacobs, Sloan. Feeds it wide. Henderson sits it up. Walker might fly. And Patful holding free.
Yeah,
Taylor Walker's
good
free.
decision. Yeah, it was against merit. Really good decision there from the umpire.
Just held the arm.
Yeah. It was just slow play at the start of this third quarter.
Sits it up. Dangerfield's drifted forward. Dump clear. Rockcliffe pursues it. Eddie Betts got there ahead of him, started behind him, then left it behind. Buick. Hanley. They need a spark from somewhere, Brisbane. Short pass to Crisp. He gave them the spark in the opening term. 2 first quarter goals. And really did get them motoring when they led early in this game.
That's better from Rockcliffe and Hanley trying to generate some run.
Yeah, their uncontested marks are up. They're using the ball very well short. As Moon said, just drawing the defence of the Adelaide Crows up.
Taylor to Green in the pocket. Good spoil, Crouch. Legal spoil. Just got there in time.
Josh Green appealing to the umpire. Felt it might have been a little shove in the back. Nothing in that.
Nothing in that.
Threw himself forward.
Brett Crouch having another good game with 13.
Jacobs rips it out of the air. Needs to get rid of it now. He just found his toe with it and high.
Yeah, high contact. It's like there's also a clash of heads.
Yeah, there is.
So Crisp down at the moment. We'll keep an eye on him. Crouch. Yench. Oh, just missed him, Green. Sized him up. Wanted to take him down. Smith.
Tex Walker having to push right up at this contest.
She keeps that low. Right. Freeman, the first gamer, couldn't make something of it. Just hasn't been able to find the pace of the game.
They're out.
His first AFL game, and Henderson takes off. Rory Sloan, free kick off the ball.
Yeah, against Maguire, because there was a speed factor there.
Well, if that was a professional free kick from Maguire, it was well played because it stopped the run of the Adelaide Crows. They had an open forward 50. Now they've been slowed.
Not 15. Taylor Walker told to get going. To right. Within range. Keeps it low. Top of the square. Robertson.
The option was to the top of the square. Just he elected to go for the short pass there.
Aish. Harwood. Missed Hanley. Douglas feeds back. Caught Walker. Untidy start to the second half, and maybe the fatigue kicking in already. Right, rolls it. Grigg, the sub, on for Adelaide. Brisbane Lions yet to jump with theirs. Jacobs pops it to Jenkins. Nice bounce, good collect. Not 15. Sloan, he can run into 50 though. Thinks about the big sticks. Gives it a launch. It's bending back. Mark on the goal line. On the goal line. That's a huge grab.
Yeah, very good grab from Lions.
They're just too loose at the moment. Rowan Buick knew he was deep, and he just elected to stand there. He was guarding some space, but it wasn't the dangerous space. All the space was over the back, so needed some support too for a third man in.
Well, that's right. The big man.
Gardner.
So back into the lineup this week. Makes the goal umpire do some dancing, but it's there. And the margin's out to 50 for the first time today.
You're spot on, Spud. When the ball comes in long, as a key defender, or any defender in modern football, you've got to leave your man. And this is a 50-metre kick from Sloane, so there's plenty of time for Gardner to charge over and at least make body contact and do his best to spoil that ball, or at least even risk giving a free kick away. But you've got to make hard body contact. He just stayed too long next to his own opponent, and in the end, it was a pretty easy goal, made look difficult by Lions.
No, he's had a terrific game. 17 disposals, 6 score involvements, and kicked a goal.
He looks handy down there.
Adelaide already has a better possession percentage than the 3 teams above them on the ladder, but this will be handy for them if they can turn this into a huge victory. This percentage could be a massive factor at the end of the season, and they are still a contender to get their own home final rather than rely on filling 8th spot and playing Port Adelaide in a home final. They can get their own if they win every game, including this one. Brown, close to the boundary, sees it out.
No, you're right, Dwayne. The key to any percentage boost is to keep
the live ladder.
Here's the live ladder now. So Adelaide are 109. They started the game at 106.3. So they've gone up 3% already.
And they play North Melbourne, so that's why that spot that North Melbourne's got currently is up for grabs. If Adelaide finish well, win all their games, including that win over North Melbourne.
Of course, Collingwood to play tonight over at Patterson Stadium against West Coast, so they've got a game in hand at the moment.
That's the frustrating thing about Adelaide, is their best has been so good this season, obviously off to a sluggish start at the start of the year, but they've just been inconsistent from week to week.
Merritt, good grab if you're unaware of the final system. 5th and 6th at the end of the home and away season do get home finals first week, even though our elimination finals. Patfull to Buick. Time to spend it wisely. Just edged out of it easily, Freeman, and he hasn't been able to raise himself to the AFL standard just yet, the 19-year-old from the Lions Academy. There's Charlie Cameron on screen. There's the high one. Okay, crisp caught high.
Just copped an accidental elbow to the right ear.
Flicked out, Mays. Rockcliffe. Adcock. Across the face. Won't have the carry. Green. Oh, he sized it up off the line.
He was sniffing that one out. Big ask for young Jono Freeman. Got his opportunity, playing on one of the really best defenders, negating defenders in the competition in Talia.
Yeah, welcome to league football. And as we know, Daniel Talia's had an outstanding season. I think his last 5 weeks he's only had the 4 goals kicked on him, Talia. So
if you're going to play in that key forward post, you're not going to come up against too many duds in the competition, so you're going to have your hands full most weeks, but certainly Talia one of the best.
Just the 1 possession so far for Freeman in this contest. Jenkins. Martin, good contest with Patfull. And spins out of it magnificently.
Look at this man.
At the back.
McKay to Cameron, and he can line them up and push the margin out to 55.
Yeah, as the Lions players were drawn up at the ball, and certainly Justin Lepage pretty keen to get extra numbers around the ball, Cameron just snuck out the back and found an enormous amount of space in the forward 50.
Began the season on the rookie list. This is game 5. Adelaide Crows with Scott Thompson not playing today with a hamstring, and James Podsiadly rested. It's across the face. So Pods will come back in next week for the home game, Adelaide Oval against the Tigers. Thompson obviously would be keen to get back, but he's had that hamstring problem for a few weeks now and been in and out.
So Harwood and Zorko trying to stay out of the sun the best they can on the pine.
Well done, Maguire.
Mays takes off. Open space.
In the middle of the ground.
Robinson and Buick running.
A panic ahead, bouncing ball, and good commitment, Smith. Left his own man. He was a 1-on-3 there and beat them all.
Oh, hasn't he done well?
To right, to Greg. He's caught, throw, holding the ball.
There's a throw on then, Smith. You can see why he's in contention for All-Australian too. He just reads the play so well.
Have you got him in, Danny?
Oh, he's in. Please.
Okay, he's done. All right, wide to Paparone.
We've ticked that one. Thanks, bud.
Okay. Get the Nebrosik star off you before the end of the day. See if it's Aish Louis Taylor.
That's a good pass from Paparone, just to get the ball inside 50, and the Crows had big numbers back, so there's little point just blazing away to where they're comfortable, especially with the likes of Talia back there and the ruckman. So if you can hit that 15-20 metre dart to put Buick in just inside 50 so he can have a shot.
Just need to stay within range because they will finish strongly. Adelaide down to just 2 rotations on the bench. Buick plenty on it, but it's across the face, so you would think Adelaide will fatigue late in this game. Already without Andy Otten and Tom Lynch for the day. Brisbane with their full quota. Paparone, their sub, now on. So Clark's been subbed out for the Brisbane Lions. Knocked down. Good attack from Adcock. Lions steals it back again though. Luke Thompson, Josh Jenkins.
I'm assuming Luke Thompson just keeps getting the job done as well for Adelaide.
He will keep his spot now with Andy Otten maybe done for the year. Jenkins to half forward. Dangerfield makes a contest with Walker. Bring it to ground. Zorko was too quick for his own feet. Slipped into it and in a bit of trouble really because he slipped and fell on the ball.
Trying to get rid of it.
That's the rule whether you like it or not.
Well, it was Steph, wasn't he? Because you're right. He called the penalty and he slipped. And then no effort to get the ball out.
There he goes. Slides in early. Now it's not taking the legs because he was down well and truly early, but once you go to ground, Pryor's gone.
Eddie Betts wants it short. She's on the lead. Lace out.
Well, you talk about fatigue, Wayne. I know Adelaide are 2 down as you keep talking about, but I think the young Brisbane Lions team with 6 teenagers, they're looking very, very tight at the moment. And there's a look of defeatism on a lot of the youngsters at the minute.
So this for a 55-point margin. Just inside the arc. Didn't strike that all that well. And it drifts across the face. And for the Brisbane Lions, it would be a little disappointing. This is maybe their last big chance at a win. Their last 3 games. Collingwood at the MCG next week. Then Fremantle. And then Geelong at Simmons Stadium, last game of the year.
Yeah, reasonable way to finish it off.
Oh, they've played.
Well, they finished off last year in the final round against Geelong as well and nearly snatched a victory in the dying seconds of the game, which could have snuck them into the final 8 for at least a few hours.
Crouch floats it, and Patfull, did he have it line up? He didn't. Eddie gives it off. Jenkins, easiest goal he'll ever kick.
Yeah, Patfull's gone 3 deep. I thought he nearly had enough of it. He elected to take the mark, and that's the price you pay. If you don't mark the ball, see really good pressure. The tackling pressure from Adelaide today has been terrific. They've had 15 more tackles. You see Patfull here come 3 deep. He's gone over his direct teammate. I think he probably should have called Darcy Gardner in after having a look at the replay. We've got the benefit of the replay, but you always want to call your younger player in Darcy Gardner on that occasion. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, that sort of mistake has just led to Josh Jenkins kicking a crummy goal. You won't see that too often, but spot on. Darcy Gardner had done all the hard work to hold his man out. Just got spoiled by his own teammate.
Chris Maguire wouldn't be too happy either.
Lions
in for his first goal.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Pretty precious with that sort of situation, the traditional fullback spud.
Well, when you're getting beaten, you just want to make sure you clean up your side of the bargain. He's been doing a pretty good job. You want to play team football, but he wouldn't be overly happy. That's his 11th goal kicker too, by the way.
It's a very important spread.
It's amazing, Lynchy, how it is never the fullback's fault either when it does happen.
No, you always have a fair chance to cop a spray up the field from the fullback.
Those forwards have got to put some pressure on Moons at some stage.
Green tried to keep it alive, and how the umpires see that on the full. He handballed it into the oncoming foot. Clever.
Out in the full. So now they've got to try to set this up. Switch it to the far side. Use of foot short, I think, is the go.
Talia. Another good day at the office. Not this time. Couldn't get it away. Crisp dives in. Tied up. You mentioned last season, Alistair, big finish for Brisbane last year. They were 10 wins and 12 losses last year. 12th in the end with that 10-win season. Right now they're 6 wins for 2014.
But I think the 6 wins are better than the 10 last year.
I was just going to ask you, have they hit bottom and actually bounced up again?
I think you're right, and in many ways they have come out the other side. I think the development of the young players that we've spoken about today and over the recent weeks, I think, is a really positive note, and it is a change of era. You know, we'll see the last of the Brisbane Lions premiership players finish up at the end of the season in Ash McGrath, and so the youngsters have a chance to take over.
Henderson to Jenkins, and he was met front on by Maguire.
Frontal pressure there.
Play on. Cameron's kicked the goal. That will be allowed. It wasn't a mark. Add it to the book.
Yeah, free kick, play on this occasion, and Cameron's nicely around the body, but yeah, just they've lost their run. They look exhausted out on their feet, the Brisbane Lions. It has been a tough few months where they've played some really good football, but here to a dangerous situation, ball hits the ground, it's towed forward accidentally basically by Joel Patfull, but a great opportunist goal from Cameron. Goes off the ground, has a spell with a wet towel, probably needs an umbrella as well.
Well, they are showing no signs of stopping whatsoever, the Adelaide Crows.
No, they do understand that there's a lot of spots up for grabs, so form is an issue, percentage is an issue as well, come finals time, as you indicated before, Dwayne.
Buick. Almost run down, squeezes the kick inside 50, ball to the back, McStay couldn't grab that. Luke Thompson caught, Green a wobbler. Sits on Taylor. Henderson, clever hands. Yench, a nice 1-2 with McKay.
It was good give and block.
Walker, Merritt.
Oh, that's a good duel.
Merritt went for the boundary. Didn't really know the right was lurking.
215 kegs worth of power. 6'5" each. Two monstrous, powerful athletes. And they're good to see Taylor Walker continue to develop and build his fitness after returning from that ACL injury.
Sloan, third man up. Crouch turns it over. Zorko to Hanley. Rockcliffe.
Nowhere to go. They're outnumbered deep.
Aish. Mays. Back to Aish. Back to Mays. And there's the scramble on tidy kick inside 50. McKay caught by Zorko. Flicks it to Douglas. Open space if Adelaide can get it forward. They might be a little spent as well. Sloan holds it up.
Well, I think Rory Sloan's held it up because he's in the shade. He's thinking 30 seconds here to do me quite nicely before three-quarter time.
Dangerfield, that might be the point in the last quarter. Play the shade side.
Yeah, it is very warm and taxing on the players. We know how hard the modern player runs these days. You don't get much of a chance to have a rest on the field. Nick Robinson back in the side this week, sitting down there with his skipper and Jed Adcock.
Stephen Martin. Can you call that a hit out? Got it to right.
He'll claim it. It's got to be something.
Yeah.
It wasn't a handball.
Merritt shrugs Eddie, caught him.
Good tackle, Eddie Betts.
That wasn't a handball either.
That was the perfect tackle.
Now, Cameron Mooney, we saw Eddie Betts have a look at the tackle here. Good work on Big Daniel Merritt. We saw him in the warm-up on the other side of the ground. He was flushing him from this sort of angle.
Well, we're a little bit disappointed it's not on the other side, Richie, because we would have just said put it down for a goal. He was flushing everything. 45-metre drop punts. He was hitting 55-metre torpedoes on the boundary line, and they're all going straight through the middle. So hopefully he'll have a shot here because I'm going to back him.
Oh, he's getting ready.
Walker.
Oh, his teamwork is overrated, I would have thought, Moons. But yeah, nice play from Eddie Betts. The tackle, then the pass to Taylor Walker. But yeah, pre-game, he was just flushing them from everywhere.
Leads their goal kicking 2, Eddie Betts, with started the day with 39. He's now up to 41 kicking to 2. Good unselfish play there.
It's been a huge positive for both club and player, the move to the Adelaide Crows from Carlton this year.
Well, he'll play finals, so it's been worth the while if Adelaide can continue winning their way in to September, and Walker adds to their percentage.
Not only that, if he ends up kicking 50 goals as a small forward,
Getting your money's worth.
Well, you are, and that, you can say, why did he pass the ball? Well, he's given it to a teammate in a better position, and that's what Brendan Sanderson looks for, and that's the beauty of Eddie Betts. Have a look at the tackles, just a beautiful forward-line pressure. That's what I've been impressed since probably about the 12-minute mark, Alistair.
Yeah.
Adelaide's pressure, the frontal pressure, they're tackling. They've had 16 more tackles than the young Brisbane team, so All positives for Adelaide at the moment.
Adelaide fans will be happy with that combination working well. They'll be expecting it for a number of years to come. Big tail walker, nice finish.
As we mentioned earlier, Adelaide, no player today older than 27. So they are young as well this afternoon. Crouch inside 50, right. Just didn't quite bounce for him, still got it. Gives it to Eddie. Harwood. Maguire, little push off was high on right. Paparone couldn't make something of it. Tatful. All in.
Taylor Walker takes their goal, scoring for 12 different goal kickers now for Adelaide Football Club. We've had 20 uncontested possessions in their forward 50 to Brisbane 7. So completely in control, Adelaide. Brisbane Lions unfortunately only kicked the 2 goals since quarter time.
Yeah, just really struggled. It looked impressive in that first quarter, but their run has really dropped away, as you said, on the back of the great defensive work from the Crows.
15, 20 players around this ball at the moment, which means there's plenty of space if it clears. Rockcliffe looping handball to Martin, but he left it behind. Brodie Martin. Dangerfield. McKay through traffic. Cameron loops it over the top. Greg gets in on the action. He hands it over. Little dribbler from right. Wasn't necessarily what he was after. Tries to make it right by giving it to Betts, by giving it to Cameron.
There's a raffle in the end.
Oh, there are players everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, there's desperation from the Lions to get it back around the ball, but just around the fringe, there was all sorts of options for the Adelaide Crows. Dodged the bullet on that occasion, the Lions, but it's been a lean half of football.
It's just about game time for them now, the Brisbane Lions, but they do need to lift their body language. We know it's oppressive conditions for these youngsters, but they've just got to find a way. Don't be dictated by the scoreboard. Just win your own ball if you can.
It's their home game, their home crowd, and the crowd have come for them today. Taylor wide, Martin, Paparone, Buick sidestep. He had Zorko inside. Oh, they've messed it up again. McStay hands it back. Down the kick smothered. A rolling ball. Close caught behind his man. Dangerfield, Sloan, Henderson. It sits on him. Robertson couldn't get there to shut it down.
Just in time. We saw Buick. He was just looking for his left. He was stuck on his right foot. Tried to turn back into the corridor to get on his dominant left. Couldn't get there.
Griggs going to have to go. Mays and Crisp, third man up.
Yeah, well done.
He's a good size, Crisp. Big body.
Yeah, 190, 6'3" in the old.
Handy midfielder.
Mays.
The game of Blaze.
He sits it up in hope. Adelaide plenty of numbers back. Stephen Martin front spot. Good sidestep in the end from Smith. Pumps it clear. 2 on 1. Paparone, Harwood and Charlie Cameron the one. Good hassling. Harwood short. Rockcliffe.
Good eyes. Good excusing for blazing away there. Rockcliffe in the dangerous position. Another pretty steady game from Tommy Rockcliffe, coming up from disposal number 26.
Number 2 on disposal averages in the competition. Over 30. He's on track for another 30 plus. This will be disposal 26.
You can't deny his work rate when the opposition have got the ball too.
No, that's right.
They've
absolutely.
only had 34 tackles. Brisbane, he's had 8.
It's not a great stat, is it, for the rest of the team?
To breathe some life back into his team, to give them a goal for the quarter at least.
Oh, well done, Tommy.
And he does.
An exceptional game, and Jed Adcock is the captain here, but this man is the young leader of the group. He's the vice captain, but certainly a dominant personality in this young team, and just got involved. But smart use. Harwood got involved, Paparone, and Harwood just had the composure. Rather than blaze away, just hit up the target. And the work rate from that previous stoppage to get across the ground and be an option was very good from Tommy Rockcliffe.
1 minute 38 to three-quarter time. Jacobs has fought hard all day. Establishes dominance against player who was in good form, Stephen Martin. Gets one back here with a little toe poke towards Zorko. Flicks it to Paparone. Sub, he needs to give them something. He sits it on Aish's head. Dangerfield tracks it down. Brown left it behind. Brodie Martin caught. Stolen back by Freeman. Green. Paparone.
Good kick.
Top of the square, just too far out in front of close. Knocked down outside of the boot. And Rockcliffe says apologies.
No, it was a really good kick from Paparone. Unfortunately, just a little bit more elevation would have given Michael Close a much needed kick.
Yeah, he just was a touch flat-footed Close.
Yeah.
If he'd got off the mark a little earlier, he would have got momentum and got there quite easily. But again, Rockcliffe's day, he's driven the ball inside 50 on 7 occasions. And as you said, those 8 tackles to go along with his 28 disposals to this stage.
Lions. Over the head of Wright. Martin, nice little give, and he'll get it back here. Rockcliffe puts it back in front, but gives it to Zorko instead. Thump bound by Luke Thompson. Back to Stephen Martin. Hacks it across the face, and another behind.
At least they're getting some repeat entries.
Yeah.
The first half in red time, Adelaide dominated, kicking 9 goals, 3 in red time in the first 2 quarters. So at least Brisbane Lions are getting some repeat entries at the end of this third quarter.
He's working his way back into the game too, Stephen Martin. We know that he's more of a danger on the outside. His ability to spread from the stoppage, whereas Jacobs is going to give a bit of silver service to the midfield, which he has done throughout the day. But Martin's up to 21 disposals. Jacobs has the 14, but obviously dominated stoppages.
Adelaide Crows put the pedal down in the third term. Absolutely dominated the quarter. And three-quarter time at the Gabba, bright sunshine, and it's the Adelaide Crows, despite being down 2 players in the second half, demolishing the Brisbane Lions and heading back inside the top 8 tonight. 16-14, 110 to 7-7-49 as we head downstairs for an important update. Cameron Mooney.
Yeah, thanks, Dwayne. Just on those updates with Tom Lynch. He's gone to hospital, as we already knew. He's gone for a precautionary X-ray. They think it's just a suspected jarred neck. So hopefully, all signs are looking to be really positive for Tommy Lynch. The other one was Andy Otten, as we saw. He did his right knee. We're suspecting that it's going to be a serious right knee injury. Looks like it's going to be a recap. We won't know until tomorrow, at least, when they get home and give it some decent X-rays and going over when they get back home. But unfortunately for him, that's his second knee that he's done now. Is his left knee in 2010. Now it looks like he's done his right.
That is not good news for Andy Otten, and hopefully that is continues to be positive news for Tom Lynch. Certainly it was a nerve-wracking time for everyone concerned, family and friends, but Brendan Sanderson will be certainly very happy from an on-field point of view, Spud.
No doubt of that whatsoever, excuse me, with Sando. He'll be looking for his plays, he'll be looking for rotations. They've got the game well in their grasp, and if you look at the score sources, Brisbane have done extremely well from turnover, 7 goals 4. Adelaide have kicked 7 goals 5, but the score sources from stoppages, unfortunately for Brisbane, 3 behinds, Adelaide 9 goals 6, and you wanted to know the impact from Big Sam Jacobs, well, you see it right there in the score sources, 9 goals 6.
Yeah, and 5 of those goals have come from boundary throw-ins as well, so Big Sauce Jacobs just putting on a silver platter for his midfield brigade, and there's a fair amount of class going through the midfield. Certainly Sloane Crouch is a very good player. Dangerfield, as we know.
Final term to get underway, 16-14 to 7-7. Hanley gets it out to Rockcliffe. Zorko back to Hanley, back to Rockcliffe, back to Hanley.
Involved.
Absolutely, the usual suspects as they get going. Back to Zorko, runs inside 50 and he can't finish the deal.
They just need something like that. They needed that goal just to generate a bit of enthusiasm.
Yeah, take a half
30 minutes
chance.
left, yeah.
Half chance from outside 50, just to get a bit of confidence, just so a few of the young players can hang in there. It's been a fairly lean day for their key targets in Freeman, Close.
Well, in theory, they should be full of run. They've got a younger team. They've got 6 teenagers. The Brisbane Lions, they're at home. They're playing in conditions familiar to them, even though they might not have the skill set just yet because they're young. They should still have the vibe.
Yeah, they should have the vibe, Dwayne, but I suppose I'm looking at the forward line players in Close and Freeman. They're just slight of build at the moment, and Daniel Talia and Luke Thompson have been absolutely outstanding there as young defenders also.
Eddie Betts, you can still chase and tackle and smother. Brown heads wide. And we'll want to finish this off. There's the chase and tackle from Freeman we were talking about. The first gamer got in there, kept the ball inside 50. You mentioned repeat entries. There's Freeman again, tries to break free.
Oh. Learned that handball from the academy.
Douglas. Adcock, little spillage.
Yeah, I think the son might have gotten his eyes on that occasion. He's looking for the switch inboard.
Yeah,
not sure whether it's on though.
Looking for Harwood. It's going to be risky.
And he goes to Harwood.
Look out.
Oh, Jench let him go then. He could have hurt him and hurt him big time and spent a bit of time on the sidelines himself, Jench. Paparone, there was protection for him and his opponent. Good tackle Louis Taylor dumped.
Yeah, good tackle.
It was just 3 on 3. Really good ball movement from Brisbane, but Adelaide were up to the task with their tackling pressure.
Good call on Yentz, Dwayne. I think he assessed it very quickly and thought maybe 1 or 2 weeks on the sidelines is not worth it at this stage of the season.
Yeah, he couldn't quite. You have to be good to do a merit, and actually with your peripheral vision.
Just got to watch the ball and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, let's hope Nat Fyfe doesn't win the Brownlow by 10 votes and Merritt finish second and win it. Have it taken away from Fyfe.
I think the first one could quite easily happen. Not sure about the second one, Dwayne.
You don't think Big Daniel will pop up?
He's been serviceable.
He's a good spreader here from the Crows again.
Good attack from Smith. Tries to shrug and go. He was spun. Got the handball up there, Henderson. Crisp. Harwood.
Got the extra there, Brisbane.
Yeah. So short pass to Zorko can go. Can they finish full of run? Pull this margin back to a respectable 4 or 5 goals perhaps.
They probably need to switch it up again because, again, they're outnumbered deep.
Yeah, Maguire's on.
Or forced long.
Green's inside 50 and that's almost pulled in. It is pulled in by the first game of Freeman.
That's what he's known for. A really good mark. Actually, for his size, he's pretty good at ground level too. But you've called throughout the day, Dwayne. It's been a tough introduction up against a couple of the class defenders of the competition. Certainly when he was matched up on Daniel Talia. But that is a very good grab. Contested grab, the big fella.
He's gone a long way back too.
One of them up for Jonathan Brown 16 next year, are they? Little change of number, do you think, Lynchy?
I reckon you'd shelve the number for a year.
Oh, would you? Okay.
I'd put it in the storeroom for a year.
And the Saints are already contemplating who to give Lenny Hayes' famous 7-2 at the moment. To give that honour. Freeman, first goal in AFL footy is not there.
When did Pearce handling at your number, Lynchy? Number 11.
I went through a few. I think Justin Sherman had it after me. He may have been the one straight after me.
Did it go in the cupboard for a while?
I'm not sure, actually.
We're disappointed they gave it straight to Justin Sherman or didn't shelve it?
No. You don't. I think from an individual's point of view, you're happy to see it out there. There's a bit more pace in the jumper now, it's fair to say, and with Justin Sherman as well than it used to be a decade or more ago.
Talia back to Yench. Spears his way through the middle. Douglas hands it back.
No, it's too easy.
Still plenty of run, Adelaide, at the moment. They've been down 2 rotations, and yet they are full of running in this heat. Crouch, one of their young guns, inside 50 to Walker.
That's a beautiful kick from Crouch. That is
well weighted.
Just across his body. He looked up. That was the key. He looked for an option, and then he kicked the ball to grass, knowing that Taylor Walker had Merritt standing in front, and there's nothing Merritt could do. I thought Merritt actually played it okay. He had the courage to play in front, but the kick from Crouch was far too good.
It was. Taylor Walker went to engage Merritt at one stage, but then thought, no, actually, this is such a good kick, I don't have to, and just dropped back and took it.
Doing what they have to do, Adelaide. Right now, being cruel to be kind. Straight through the middle from Taylor Walker. He's got 3.
Geez, a beautiful kick for goal. It's just a really fluent kick. He doesn't kick through it. We hear often you need to kick through the ball, but he's very confident in what he does. And just see the movement. Here is the kick across the body, as you said, from Crouch. Around the body and just over the top of Daniel Merritt. Very easily marked by Taylor Walker in the kicking action. Very compact.
Yeah. There's nothing Merritt could do there. He played the position beautifully, but the kick was too good, and Taylor Walker finished appropriately.
12 different goal kickers for the Adelaide Crows so far, so no one's dominated. Walker with 3.
24 for the season in his 12th game, so averaging more, on 2 a game. So coming back from a knee,
and he can be—he's that X factor. He's the gun full forward that in finals he could have a day out.
I think Adelaide are the X factor. They've got to get there first, of course, but winning today and winning quite well is going to help their percentage, and they will be in the 8.
Not unusual, but Patrick Dangerfield limps from the field. He's just come out of that centre stoppage and is limping from the ground.
Straight to Cottonwool, you'd think, for Dangerfield. Even if you have to play the last 10 minutes with 17 men. They've got a big 3 weeks coming up, Adelaide. They've got Richmond, who are still in the hunt next week at the Adelaide Oval. The Tigers are in form right now.
Yeah, the Tigers are up and going, but the right knee, that is heavily strapped. He's, just see here, he gets tackled, and maybe when he's tackled the ground from Zorko, maybe jarred. Oh, it looks like he's hurt it there as he's kicked through. Yeah, he's hurt it as he's
followed through.
Yeah. Keep an eye on him.
It's like a bit of a hyperextension or something along those lines.
I think it is a hyperextension when he's kicked.
Aish to Zorko. This is his forte. Runs to 40 and the finish.
Well, all 8 goals are from counter-attack, and it still gives the Brisbane Lions supporters a lot of hope to see the youngsters finishing off the game. And I think it's super important that Justin Leppitsch gets out to all these players and, okay, it hasn't been our day, but let's really finish off this last quarter with a bit of momentum for our crowd. And what better way to do it with Dane Zorko there through the middle of the ground. That's where they've got most of their goals, that handball through the middle of the ground. He's had another serviceable day with 23 disposals.
Yeah, good run off half back.
Cameron Mooney, what have you got on Danger?
Well, Danger's just gone down into the rooms down here, Dwayne, and he's got that right knee heavily strapped, as we already know. He's obviously gone down there to strap it again, but to actually hurt it with that hyperextended kick, Lynch, here just means it's obviously a little bit loose down there. But you don't want him to go into Cottonwool, because what you're doing, with that one rotation, you're going to cook the rest of your players for next week. So they do need him to get out there and keep those rotations going.
Martin gives it off to Crisp. Stand start, turn, deliver. 2 in a row.
Well, that's exactly what we like to see from the youngsters. Crisp, nice goal. Very impressed, as I've said a couple of occasions. His 3rd goal, and he's a good size and shape, and the spread, again, that we've highlighted throughout the day from Stefford Martin. From the middle of the ground, he works very hard to get involved, pushes forward here, just gets away from Jacobs with his athleticism, and you cannot go to sleep at all with Martin, because he'll run clear. Nice finish from Crisp.
It's been an intriguing drill, hasn't it, with Stephen Martin, 22 disposals, 13 of those uncontested. V. Jacobs, only the 14 disposals, but dominating these hit-outs to advantage.
Slick hands, back to Zorko, back to Louis Taylor. Bends it inside 50, and front spot, good spot, Luke Thompson.
He just plays percentages, Luke Thompson. I love the way he goes about it. He's just reliable. No fuss, no frills. Just gets the job done.
Vandy Otten may be done for the season. He'll become crucial if they are to make the finals.
Correct, Wade.
Short pass to the middle. Jenkins, Walker, both there. They couldn't make something of it. Knock on by Maguire. They've still got some beans, which is good to see the Lions. Hand up to Harwood. Crisp, manhandled. Henderson.
Counter-attack that we've seen the majority of scores from the Brisbane Lions come, but also they're very dangerous to the Crows with this run. Oh, the numbers everywhere forward.
So Lions to right. He's got Grigg running for him. He ignores that.
Oh, he's missed them.
Longer
Sloan
now.
There's Grigg, still free. Had a look around.
Well done, Zorko.
We had a few seconds to wait under that one. He wouldn't have been overly impressed from the Rory Sloan pass. But Dane Zorko, you spoke about Rockcliffe working hard front and back. Certainly Dane Zorko's doing the same thing. Worked very hard defensively there to get to this contest and just spoiled over the line.
That's what you want from your leaders too, just to finish the game full of running.
Good attack from both McKay and Rockcliffe.
Both sides will know they've played a game of football out there today, though.
Oh, yeah, I think it'll be a light week on the track for both teams. hot conditions.
What about Brisbane in August? This is like Melbourne in October. Just a sunshiny day. Hint of summer on the way. Amazing up here. Sloan made it his own.
Yeah, he just had the eyes firmly fixed on that from a long way out and didn't look where the pack was, just threw himself at the contest.
Well, it's the fourth occasion where an Adelaide player has marked the ball in this area of the ground with not a fist in sight. That'd be really disappointing. Last week I thought they were terrific against Melbourne, being able to come third man in, but today there's been a bit of self-preservation there, just staying on your man.
They came into this game with just half a percentage point ahead of Essendon, so the margin is critical for them as well. Sloan squeezes it in. They'll move into the top 8. 3 games to come, and percentage. There's the run home. Adelaide, 40 points, up to 7th right now. Collingwood still to play, so they could push Essendon out of the 8 tonight. But Adelaide right now, their percentage up to 110. They started the day with 106.5, so it's been a big increase. They're ahead of Essendon on percentage, ahead of Collingwood on percentage, and obviously the Gold Coast season is just about cooked, and Richmond the other contender.
What a cracking game next week's going to be. Richmond v Adelaide.
Oh,
at
huge
Adelaide Oval.
Massive game, another sellout,
final.
No doubt about that. But they've ticked the box that they needed to tick today, the Adelaide Crows. They've done it in fine fashion. Obviously the injury concerns are a major worry, but they had to get the 4 points and a bit of percentage. They've done that and the big man's away.
Oh, wanted to go all the way home too, you'd think. Taylor Walker, he might finish with a bag. Got 4, and he's putting on a clinic now.
But he looks dangerous, doesn't he? He moves well. I mean, he didn't have to do too much then, but it was his finishing skills. But that man we're pushing up for All-Australian selection, and the ruckman just follows the stoppage this time and just keeps moving. And just he wanted, the eyes lit up. He wanted to have a shot.
Walker just off 2 steps. He's just gone a lazy 65 over the goal umpire's hat, if you don't mind.
It's a powerful leg.
No, he's had a terrific game, Sam Jacobs. That's where the game's started. They've been absolutely dominant in that area.
Yeah, in tight, the clearance work. He's got the big frame. That's hit dead centre.
Nice.
They're pretty happy, the Crows supporters, and the big Texan is as well.
It's the 11th goal from clearances, Adelaide Football Club.
That's a smashing.
And again, there's a clearance of sorts.
Sure.
Douglas off the deck, Betts. Jenkins, spin, turn. They're enjoying it at the moment, Adelaide. Why wouldn't you enjoy it up here in Brisbane?
Well, they should.
25 degrees.
Well, this is Adelaide's highest score ever at the Gabba in 21 games here today.
And they're not done yet. There's Taylor.
Oh, look out.
He's got 5.
It's like shelling peas for him at the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, very impressive. Yeah, very impressive performance from Walker and the Adelaide Crows. The Lions have actually stopped to a walk, and this is blown out to a nasty total now. Just turnovers have been disappointing. And on the left, we spoke about the extremely powerful right leg. Well, that was a disappointing left leg from Rowan Buick to start with. And a nice kick from the big man.
They've been blown off the park since quarter time.
Well, it just goes to show what a good job Justin Clark was doing on Taylor Walker, and Daniel Merritt's gone back there, and he's all at sea on Taylor Walker at the moment.
Lyons flicks it to Jacobs on the run. Dangerfield's back on, collects, puts it to the pocket, out of Griggs' reach. Taylor Walker sniffing a 6th perhaps. 5's the best he's kicked this year, Taylor Walker, so he could end up with a season best, and Grigg will line up.
Plays on.
Top of the square, Eddie Betts might jump. Cameron was there, Betts is there. Brody mugged. This is way too easy. It's a clinic now.
Floodgates have well and truly opened up, and there's no response, no defence at all from the Lions now. But encouraging signs for the Adelaide Crows. They're getting confident. They've had a number of their players get plenty of the ball, and in the last quarter they've had the likes of Yench and Crouch. Taylor Walker's had a very good last quarter as well, and helps with the confidence going into a really important 3 weeks in the lead up to finals.
We were just saying it was good that the Brisbane Lions kicked a couple of goals, but they've been in 6 times Adelaide for 5 goals won. Yeah, it's an absolute clinic at the moment.
Through the lack of pressure.
Starting with this big fella in the middle.
78 points now. They are sniffing at 100. It's hard to believe they've been down rotations and they are just blowing Brisbane away. Brodie Martin again, sidestep to Sloan. It's out of his reach initially, but he breaks clear of Martin with ease. Dangerfield, he could go all the way home. Pokes the pass, hoping for Cameron. Rockcliffe got back.
The positive too for that too, Dwayne, was Dangerfield's kick. He kicked through the ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is a positive.
Huge positive. He's back out there.
Yep.
You think you just put him back to a forward pocket now. If they have to have him on for rotations, just sit him forward.
I'd put him an hockey strap around his leg and tie him to the goalpost. So you're not going anywhere.
Robertson heads wide. Hanley and Wright. Wright took front spot. Sloan. Here they go again.
Oh, they've got the overlap too.
Lyons. Smith. Who does he want inside 50? Eddie Betts is there. Just not clear by Patful.
Well done, Patful. He did the right thing, trying to have a little bit more elevation on the ball. It was a beautiful kick from Brodie Smith, but Patful did well to get a fist on that ball there. Just watching the ball, that's a terrific defensive play.
Yeah, this time of day, that ball is sitting right in the sun as well. So very good work from the dual best and fairest winner for the Brisbane Lions.
This could end up being one of their biggest ever wins over the Lions. Certainly the biggest score here at the Gabba, as Danny told you earlier.
It's a big score for the year too, Dwayne.
Sloan gets there just beyond his range, perhaps.
But you had a couple of weeks off, but you've got all the gold today.
Jenkins.
Very good stuff.
Plenty of time to do some homework.
Yeah, all over it. This guy, he's one of the big improvers for Adelaide Crows as well. He spoke about the options moving forward. Jenkins has stepped up and been a powerhouse in the forward line with the return of Taylor Walker. They just look very well equipped.
Still a lot of time left in this game as well. This for an 84-point margin. To silence here at the Gabba. Strikes it delightfully, but then it drifts across the face, almost the plug. Jacobs, he's claimed it.
Oh,
that's the 5th mark on the. I don't think Justin Leach should be too happy with that.
Now, Spud, how's the defensive coach going in the Lions box?
I think he's getting an earful at the moment from Justin, the head coach.
And he's got some experienced players down there as well.
Well, that doesn't look 5 metres either, does it?
5 metres. I'd be putting the ball down, so I want to step that out.
He can.
Oh, the big
got the wrong side of the ball.
Centering kick.
Oh, there's a Falcon as well. That's the big ruckman trying to drag the ball around the body on the non-preferred boot.
The one Brisbane Lion player had to come on the 90-degree angle. You can see Merritt and their one defender had to come in 90 degrees and just spike that back 12 rows.
Well, that's right, because you've got Paparone and Stephen Martin under the ball, so they're going to lock the players down. You need someone to come over the top and just kill the contest.
Turnover, Wright gets it back, shrugs the tackle. Sloan still fighting on, out to Grigg. Crouch. Every Brisbane player ahead of him, and he still finds a hole for Taylor Walker, who'll line up for number 6 and his best haul of the season.
Yeah, that's a really good mark. That is a tumbling punt coming down rapidly. I mean, he's got pressure on from behind in Merritt, but he's running hard at the ball. Strong hands, as you said. His best haul for the year so far. He's only kicked 5 and a 4 previous to this one.
And this will be for 4 goals for the quarter. It's coming back.
Never in doubt.
Taylor Walker has 6. And there's still 8 minutes left.
Well, this is an amazing quarter of football from Taylor Walker, as you said, Dwayne. That's his 16th mark inside the forward 50. He does not look like missing the shot at goal. And as you said, that's a beautiful kick, because what you don't see there is the floating gyration on the football there. And Daniel Merritt must be saying, get me back up to the forward line as quickly as possible. And in saying that, what a terrific job young Justin Clark did on Taylor Walker. He's been subbed off the ground, and I think you take it for granted what a great game he played before he's subbed off.
A big game for the Adelaide Crows. They're biggest lead and will be the biggest victory over the Brisbane Lions in their history. 61 points it was back in 1991, or 66 points I think it might have been, 91. So it's been a long time since they dominated the Lions to this degree.
Yeah, they didn't get a chance to have a piece of Fitzroy.
Well, they beat us a couple of times.
Yeah, okay.
There was one after the siren at Amy Stadium we still hold a grudge for. A couple of controversial decisions.
Okay, I'm glad you keep one. Keep a good grudge or two in your old age. I like it. Lions, they're away here.
Again.
Floats it over the top. Greg gets a chance.
We're trying to play the press at the moment, Brisbane, but their ball use from the Adelaide Crows at the moment. Brisbane are using the ball at 59%. Adelaide are going at 76% this quarter. So the ball's just coming back with interest at the moment.
Well, that's the thing. You're spot on. They're pushing up, trying to block the ball. Once it gets out over the top, and they've got the overlap run far too easy.
To push the margin to 90 points. Across the face. Just scrapes it in for a score.
So they've gone in on 10 occasions, and that's 8 scoring shots. So that's an indication of lack of pressure.
Well, it's also an indication of they got a short back and sides after last week's defeat against West Coast Eagles. I've got no doubt.
Oh! Brodie Martin went up. Tried the big launch. Didn't quite bring it down.
Ball reports very disappointed the coaching staff with their efforts against the West Coast Eagles and put them on notice for this game. And I think that's why you're seeing Adelaide finish full of running.
Yeah, that was bizarre. Stephen Martin to Rockcliffe. Oh, straight through Taylor's hands. Back by Yench. Douglas bent hard. Bang, knocked down. And they have, the Adelaide Crows, made another statement today. They are not cooked for 2014 as many thought they might have been after last week. Capitulation to the West Coast late. And they could yet have an influence on the finals. They could play Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval, first final, and right now they could even start the favourite in that kind of contest. Amazing transformation in the
they're out again now. Numbers everywhere forward.
Douglas over the top. Charlie Cameron runs onto it. Dances his way to 30. Gives it to his mate Eddie Bance. Stop the fight.
There might be a towel coming in a minute. There was a 3-on-1 situation there as the Adelaide players were streaming into the forward 50. Daniel Merritt just had to leave his man in Eddie Betts, and just too easy, handball over the top, and they've absolutely dominated this again. Another forward 50 entry, another score, and they're out on their feet. The young Lions have been impressive over the last 9 weeks, but the game has well and truly got away from them now. But it's all about the Adelaide Crows. They're just ramping up nicely for a decent old tilt at the finals.
I think the league average for disposals per goal is about 24. At the moment, Adelaide are going at 10 this quarter. They've had 71 disposals for 7 goals.
Adelaide's highest score ever, you might call that one back, highest score ever, Adelaide against the Brisbane Lions is 156.
Ooh.
Currently sitting 23-16, 154. So another record is about to fall.
Rockcliffe caught. Zorko, little fumble. Douglas still fighting hard here. Ziff scores a level. Crouch pumps it long. Jacobs resting forward. Front spot, good mark, Pepperone. Squeezes it wide to Buick. Still 5.5 minutes left. Adelaide Crows won't just creep their way back into the 8. They'll blow their way back inside with a huge percentage boost. This is bad news for the Bombers. Might even be bad news for Collingwood. They still to play today. Pepperone leaves it behind. Lyons gets there. Ducks out of it. Brodie Martin. Cameron. Crouch from 42.
Well, now their percentage is 111.5, Dwayne. I think you said early in the game, though, he started at 106.3. So that is a huge percentage boost this late in the season.
Well, they play North Melbourne in 2 weeks' time. I know we take it one game at a time in this business normally, as Taylor Walker takes a nice mark, but they play North.
Yeah, they do. They do that internally. We can speculate outside.
Yeah, so if they creep up towards North's percentage, that could actually be for a home final. 6th spot is a home final. So they could earn one in their own right, regardless of what Port Adelaide do.
That's what makes that defeat last week so disappointing.
Okay, well,
I know they've forgotten about it, but
yeah.
North currently sitting on 114%.
Okay, so optimistic South Australian footy fans can still pray for that Port Adelaide Crows grand final. Maybe not that far. Okay. Port Adelaide still with some work to do to actually make the finals. Not necessarily 100% there yet. They've got 12 wins and probably going to take you 13 wins to get in to that home final spot of 5th and 6th. And it might take you 13 to get into the 8.
Yeah, it has been a real flick from the start of the season. Adelaide losing the first 3 games of the year. Port Adelaide looking so strong, only dropping 1 game in the first 13.
Yeah, Justin Lepich on screen. There's not much he can do outside of calling 000 right now. Jenkins.
Oh, he's just getting game time into the 6 teenagers, Graham. That's what's happening.
Yeah, he would have hoped for a better margin than this.
Oh, no doubt, no.
Yetch touched. It'll be play on.
Oh, no.
Merritt left it behind. They raffle it again. Dangerfield dumped on the line.
I think Eddie was... Look, he did the team thing there, Eddie. I think you could have excused him for kicking it over his shoulder, but you could see Dangerfield there calling for the ball.
He sold Danger into a dumping tackle as well, so it was a double whammy.
Yeah, I think it's a wise move to look after the superstar midfielder. I think he's going to feed Eddie a few goals over the next few years.
Again, another entry. Jacobs resting forward, little Adcock with him, a little by his standard. Rockcliffe, Patfull makes it his problem. Robertson can go. Open space ahead. Handley running hard for him. Up. Thump clear. Brown knocked it to right, who thumps it to the boundary.
That's probably just a lack of experience from young Robertson. Good young player, but he needed to run and carry the ball. He just ended up kicking to a 2-on-2 situation. But probably needed to just run it up. He was in a bit of space. Some really, there's some distressed players down there on the ground now. Hot conditions.
A few distressed people in the coach's box too, I'd reckon.
Yep.
Greg Long, Dangerfield, 2 to beat, and he takes the mark, beats the both.
Just keep his eyes on the ball all the way, Dangerfield.
Jacobs inside 50, lace out.
Oh, what a bad pass. Actually, I don't think Big Sauce actually had any thoughts about leading to that one, but Danger run, looked up and just put the ball in front of him and said, well, you've got to move forward 2 steps, and there you go.
Backtracks. Yeah, it's a long, hard think.
Big Goose Maguire, he's exhausted on the mark.
Sucks in the deep ones. 2 minutes left. Just to make it 99 points. Oh, Murphy.
It did not look like missing. He's cramping now.
Oh, he's doing 5 push-ups.
Well, the Brisbane Lions' biggest defeat at this ground, Alistair, in 1991, 102 points v Geelong.
Oh, that was a big day. Was it Billy Brownless, I think, at the Gabba?
That was when there was a dog track. I played that day. There was a dog track here.
Yeah, and same year Fitzroy played here. We played here with the dog track. Got changed in a tent and had to walk across the dog track to get to the ground. Very different stadium these days.
It was a bit of a pear-shaped ground too, from memory.
Very odd shape.
But let's get back to the man of the moment, Jacobs. I'll tell you what, Jacobs is still, I know there's not long to go, but what a game he's played. And you can see Dangerfield thought, you give a silver service all day, I'll repay the debt by just putting it right on your chest.
14 score involvements for Sam Jacobs.
So it's their greatest score ever against the Brisbane Lions, and they're not done just yet. Crouch sets it up. Dangerfield, thump clear, off hands. Maguire. Hoping the siren sounds any second here. Heads it wide to Mays. So they've beaten their highest ever score against Brisbane, 23-18, 156, as Alistair told you earlier.
Yeah, that day, Dwayne, Billy Brownless kicked 11. I think Gavin excellent.
Yeah. I had sunburn. I got sunburn on the roof of my mouth that day watching the ball go over my head. Centre-half forward.
It's a team game, Dwayne.
It is, yes. And I did my job and took my man away.
You a decoy lead.
I was one of the best dummies ever to play the game. Short pass to Dangerfield.
This man needs to respond well.
You're talking yourself down, mate. I've just Have a look at champion data. 14 possessions, 2 goals, 2.
In that game?
Yep.
Oh,
Come on, that's very good.
that's half a clinic, Dwayne.
15 tackles.
15. I think you made that up.
Career.
Here we go. Long bomb inside 50. 99 points the margin. Jacobs tries the plug at the back.
There's the
Another
record.
one. Grigg, the record. Grigg slots it. It's over 100 points now. 105. The all-time biggest loss ever coming up here at the Gabba for the Brisbane Lions, unless they can do something in the last 43 seconds.
Yeah, it's been an absolute belting again. Saw the spoil, but down to a plethora of players. On this occasion, it was Grigg, and nice little goal. Probably had the chance to give a little handball over to Tex Walker, but fair enough. The young fella get on the scoreboard, and they've raised the bat up by 105 points in a absolute belting. But good to see from a Crows point of view. Under the pump with a few injuries. In hot conditions, rotations down, but they've finished off very well.
13 different goal scorers as well, so great team performance from Adelaide.
Can they get a clearance, Brisbane, at least, to stop this from being their highest ever losing margin? Inside 50, thumb clear, dying seconds, hunted down by Robertson. Adelaide to go into the record books if they stop this one. Full forward, over the top, knocked down. Brodie Martin shoots the handball wide. Yench. And he slots it wide towards Charlie Cameron, and Grigg flies in, and that will do it.
Really good shepherd there from Charlie Cameron.
Third biggest scorer of the year behind the West Coast Eagles and Hawthorn for the Adelaide Crows.
Adelaide back in contention in 2014. And Walker doesn't have the last say, but he had a big say. 4-goal last quarter for Taylor Walker. A 6-goal afternoon for Taylor Walker. A record-breaking 25-goal afternoon for the Adelaide Crows. And the biggest ever defeat for the Brisbane Lions here at the Gabba. 105 points, the final mark.